Are we live?
We are live.
I don't know.
It just says 0 people on my side, though.
We're live, but we're by ourselves. we are awfully early. Oh,
there it goes.
7 people. It just takes a little while.
Good enough.
Benny, what's that in front of the camera?
That's my big fat thumb.
I was going to say this is a family
Thank
show.
Goodness. Thank goodness.
I was looking for a ride.
So what's everybody been doing? How was your Memorial weekend?
Oh, shit.
I just barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs. That's what you're supposed to do, ain't it?
You know, I always forget because I just assume that everybody's in here has been here before. So over to that would be my right, my left, is Chris from Antidote of a Houndsman, and the guy way over there is Benny from under a rock somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
I got to play that. We got to download that song.
Which song is that?
Under My Rock by SpongeBob SquarePants.
I got that dang fly finally.
We had some technical difficulties.
I mean stress, like bad stress. I did one.
I got blamed for it.
and I wanted to get mad at Chris for it, but it wasn't his fault at all. But I kept wanting to get mad at him. I came live one time before, but it was just like a little temporary setup that I had from this is my new office, and we just moved the last 2 days. My wife and I'm done.
Your office.
I got all my books here. I got everything here. We're on my good computer, and and it was a chore, but I called Chris because I had another computer that I was going live in town on, but I set it up on my good computer here, and I called Chris and I said, Chris, let's go on early, and I had a setting wrong, and Chris wasn't being broadcasted. I could see him and he could see me, but we weren't both on the screen at the same time, and we got it fixed, or I got it fixed at like 2 minutes till. So there you go. It was stressful.
It'd have been good for the live. Everybody would have been glued to the TV waiting for Brett to be a bear.
I in my younger days I was known to throw things and kick things, and as Benny can probably attest, as you get older, you learn better. It doesn't do any good.
Well, so I went fishing. We went catfishing. My family came down. We went to the canal, caught a bunch of catfish, threw most of them back at Little. Went and jumped in, illegally trespassed in the canal. I used to work out and swim in the canals. There's lakes in southern Arizona.
Did you catch any? Did you caught some catfish?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last night, well, I recorded a little bit of it. So the night before last, I said, let's take the bus. Me and my kids and wife jumped in the bus with no windows. We have a windshield now, but no windows. Just they're hanging out the no windows, and we have a dog.
I hope you made a video.
I did. I'm making a video for my feral family.
How about
channel?
Did you fly the drone? You should have flown the drone.
I didn't even think about it until I was already there. I'm like, I should have bought. But we're on this canal, and we're fishing. We got a big bus there, and then someone else came up to fish. They were coming up the road, and they kind of stopped and fished up the road. But I mean, it's a big church bus. We haven't even took on the church part of it yet. It's all the animals and camels and this church here. So
that's cool.
It's not even in my name yet. No insurance, no registration, no glass. But we had fun. No seat belts, no seats.
That's the perfect bus to fly the drone. You could fly it right out the window.
I could. I could come in and out of the window. I know. Speaking of, my daughter calls me And I have a bunch of dogs in heat, and I'm out of pens, so I got a horse trailer I could put them in. She texts me and she says, I don't know if you know this, but because I take that trailer camping, and I unloaded most everything. But I had dogs come in and heat, and my wife and kids threw dogs in there, and they cleaned everything out, except under my camping thing, they didn't get. Remember that old drone I had? Well, they didn't get that drone out, and that dog found it and chewed it up. Yeah. I told my wife, it's all right. I got another one. I got a good one anyways. And it's right here. So.
Benny's been out for quite a while, haven't you, Benny?
I don't know, Benny.
11 days.
He didn't even join us last Monday night.
Well, I watched for just a few minutes, but, you know, there was too much going on. Let's see, I started out on a Monday. I went to Bisbee, Arizona. My grandfather's second wife owned a hotel there, a boarding house. Sold it in the 80s. And my mom and my sister and I went one time about 2 years ago, Thanksgiving. We heard someone was working on it, so we went over there to look, and we met this young man. He's in his early 30s then, so I guess that'll put him in his mid-30s right now. But he bought that hotel for $250,000.
Jeez.
He's been working on it ever since, and he's about got it finished. So he had some of us family members in there. We got to spend the weekend in there for free and give him some feedback of what we saw and what we thought he could do to help improve it for the guests. I came home Sunday night and turned around Monday morning and went to Eastern Arizona, help a guy put in everything underground for his slab so he can put a house in. And I went from there. When did I leave? This Saturday I met my wife in Hillsboro, over there in your neighborhood, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Went and saw our grandkids and daughter and son-in-law, and got home 2 hours ago, took a nap, got up, did the chores in this freaking unfriendly heat that I live in, thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Over there in Eastern Arizona, I got up the other morning, it was 31 degrees, and I slept with the windows open, just like a hibernating bear. It was good.
Well, I've been mule training. I got this. I mean,
Mule Skinner.
well, I went to Nevada to buy these mules, and the man who owned them he had passed away, and of course I told that whole story already. But anyway, I went ahead and bought. One of them I turned down, and then I found another one there that I said I'll take that one. And it was just kind of, they told me, oh, yeah, they're good, this and that. But they couldn't tell me much about them. And even when we went out there to catch them, the girl, she acted like she knew what she was doing, but she didn't even know how to put a rope halter on a mule. So I kind of had second thoughts about what I had just bought. And I got them back. And before that, I watched some of those videos of those mules that sold at that Chrome of the Canyon sale. And I watched that video of that mule that sold for $56,000. And then I watched some videos of some other mules. And I seen how they rode around. And I thought, well, I wonder if I could make a mule ride around like that. I wonder if one of these mules has the ability to be able to do that. And I just kind of got fascinated with it. So I thought, well, before, every time I had a mule, when I get a mule, I just get them and I treat them like a mule. I just, get on them and go. If they don't neck rein, I just plow rein them around, kick them, whip them. Here we go. We're just trying to get from here to there, get to where the dogs are going, or riding through the canyon up to the top, see if there's a lion come through up there, whatever, not really worrying about anything. This time I went ahead and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and treat her just like I trained quite a few horses. And I thought, well, I'm just going to treat her like, a horse. I'm trying to train a horse. And I tell you what, she's working pretty good. She's breaking at the pole and kind of getting a little gathered up. She wants to stop and turn around. She wants to do some things. So we'll see.
So are you saying better to treat a mule like a horse instead of a donkey? And
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that to try to train them to respond or maybe carry themselves the same as a well broke horse. You know what I mean? You can go somewhere and you can go out there and you can see a guy riding a horse around. And he's got a tie down on him, got his head tied down like that, and the horse gap in his mouth, and you can get away with a horse like that. I mean, that's not a broke horse. But then when you go out there and you see a horse that the guy's out there and he's trotting or loping around in a big circle, and the reins are just looped like that, and that horse has had his head down like that and just moving along, and then when he picks up on that horse, and like that horse, the horse gathers up, and he just touches him and he backs up. Man, that'd be nice, but I don't know. Do what?
How many hands was that mule? How many hands was that?
She's right at 15. Right at 15. She's perfect size. She's a pretty mule. She got a lot of sense. She did the fourth day in a row I took her out there. I had a hard time catching her that morning. She really didn't want to be caught. And but I got a pretty good cure for that too, so I'm pretty handy with a rope. You rope them a couple times and they realize they can't get away from you. But you can't miss a bunch of times. You can't go out there and beat them on the side of the head 10 times missing, because that just teach them to run away harder. So you gotta be pretty accurate. You gotta catch them right away.
You swing a rope when you're in the saddle and you get dumped because they're ducking and dodging.
With Sage, she would take off running, and I'd swing that rope and hit it on the ground, and I'd make her run around that big corral I got. They're just in a big open area. I'd make her run so she wanted to stop, and I'd make her run some more, and then now I think she does it just to toy with me, kind of like I'll go out there and she'll run off and look at me. And I'll be like, man, I'm going to catch you. And she'll run to the other side where I was at, and she'll sit there and wait for me. Like, You want to make me run? I'll make you run. But she's getting better to where I walk in. But she used to see that halter and run off.
Yeah.
Now, so do you think that a possible partnership training, you're training her and she's training you? No, not you, Brett. I mean, if Chris's mule has learned out of that, it's like, all right, then I'm going to do some cross training here.
Maybe. Might be training me. Right? I just texted him and said we sent the link, and he gave me a thumbs up, so he'll probably be coming on.
All right. Well, yeah, we got a famous person coming on tonight, so.
I know.
Benny, be on your best behavior tonight.
Hey, I got a good shirt on. I brushed my beard. I even brushed my hair. I didn't even know if this was going to happen because of. He bailed on us last time.
Tune in. I have seen enough of you guys already. David looks true. That's the only. Well, David, we appreciate that. We're glad. We're I can't say that I'm glad you feel that way, but I can understand why you feel that way.
Yeah, we're tired of each other.
The reality is, David has not even started to see all of us.
Take a while to see all of us.
Says try again. Unable to start the call. An error occurred. Interview. See the chart.
What?
There's a problem starting your camera or microphone. Try completely.
Is he having difficulties?
Yeah. Maybe send it to him again.
Where in the heck? Oh, this is getting stressful for me, guys.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
They're gonna think we're lying because we've said we're gonna bring them on a couple times. I'm gonna open a beer now.
Well, Brett needs us some green shine.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Clump the other day, and I think that he got one of those real fancy pups that I saw over there outside of Payson a couple months back, and that just made me jealous, but glad for John.
Nice.
Try again.
Brett's being a techie.
We're on a show intermission while Brett figures out his technical.
Hey, this is what I got you guys here for. Just take care of stuff when I'm screwing around.
I can't help myself. I find it comical.
Oh, I was gonna go home this weekend, 6,000 feet. For one,
I'm gonna kill another fly here in a minute.
hey, remember when I had the fly problems?
I thought he was gonna bust out the foul language.
Tourette's. His Tourette's is kicking in. I was gonna go home, but I had to do PI work. I had to go do some PI work at night.
Private investigation stuff.
Yeah, how much is a can of chew down where you at? Shoot, I don't know. I don't chew.
How much? Who asked that?
Leered. Leardy. Leardle.
Look at everybody's giving me a hard time. All you got to do is start acting like you're going to train something, and people give you a hard time.
Man,
Do you ride the mules before you loaded them? I did not ride them before I loaded them. Would you buy a roping horse without roping on him? I have never bought a horse that somebody else has roped on. I trained every single horse I ever roped on, and I went from being just a calf roper to a number 8 healer. So there you go, buddy.
Well, I bought a 64 GTO without driving it.
A what?
A 1964 GTO.
There.
And I made the deal over the telephone, and it was, I guess it was 1,900 miles away, so I guess I'm guilty.
No, they said they were gentle and that the old man rode them. I believed them, and I was in a hurry. So that was it. I drove all the way to Nevada. I took my little sister out to dinner one night. I looked at the mules. The lady came out. I told her, I said, I'm not taking that mule. And she said, what? And I said, well, I got a cashier's check here for you, but I need another mule. I'm not going to give you this whole cashier's check for just one mule. And I said, what about that mule? And it was that Dunn mule. And she said, well, he's real gentle. Kids ride him. Said, when we go somewhere, or when my dad would go somewhere, whoever couldn't ride or didn't know what was going on, they'd put him on that mule. And I said, you pack him? And he said, yeah. Or she said, yeah. I said, has he packed live game? Or not live game, dead game. And she said, yeah. And she said, did you see all the hides in the pen? And I did. I seen he had, that's what you do, is you put hides up and hang them by the feeder and everything else, and just, synthesize them to that. And I said, all right. I said, I'll take him. And then I almost couldn't get him loaded.
Just getting your blood warmed up. Let me tell you something about Brett's blood warmed up already. It's been warmed up.
Blood was warmed.
It's been warmed up with technical difficulties. Missy, we just started.
Oh, we got an early start today, but we've had all kinds of technical difficulties.
Yeah. We figured as everybody's home being lazy because they went to the lake all weekend, so they're just sitting around doing nothing.
I just
At
worked
least
all
47
weekend.
of them are. You did, huh?
Man, I hate to move.
Did you change their names? You did change their names.
I did, but I don't know. I've always heard that it's bad luck to change their names.
Well, for the most part, they don't know who they are anyway.
Yeah.
No, they don't know who they are. But I don't know. I like Bonnie and Clyde. I just thought that was a good name. But
Unless you call their name and they come running to you in the pen, then I wouldn't change their name.
yeah.
You know, when I got dogs from the pound. I've gotten a couple hounds from the pound, and you just go through names. And this one dog, I don't know what they called it. I don't remember the name, Elvis or whatever. You don't answer that. So I'd go through names: Ralph, John, Stuart, Steve, Dog. Rowdy, Diesel, everybody. And I said Jimmy. And I said Jimmy. He looked over at me, and I said, Jimmy, come here. And he come over. But I didn't like Jimmy, so we called him Himmy. His name was Himmy, and he came to I ran some snowshoe hares this morning.
Snowshoe hares. Dry ground snowshoe hares.
Yeah. I cleaned my trailer this morning because my old lady's down for the week, so she started it, and I had to go in there and clean up all my mess. I cleaned it before she got here, but you know how it is when the man cleans it, and then they come in
It's a
and
different.
they finish cleaning it. Yeah.
Well, our office down there, I was in there when they brought the person who, because I gave him, 30 days notice that I was going to be moving out. And I was in there when he brought the lady in that's going to rent it. And there was 2 offices, 2 big rooms, and there was a wall with a door in between. And the lady looked at him and said, "Does that wall have to stay here?" And he said, "No, it's not a load-bearing wall." She said, "Well, I want to see if we can have it tore down." And so my wife's in there sweeping and mopping the floors. And I told her, I said,
Stop.
"It's a waste of time. They're going to tear that wall down, and it's all sheetrock. This place is going to be a mess." Nope.
Hey,
She
Benny,
didn't care what I
do you think
said.
Tammy stopped? Do you think Tammy stopped? She didn't stop.
No, she mopped and cleaned the whole thing.
She gave Brett a dirty look, and he kept going.
She gave me more than a dirty look. She just told me to get out of there. She said, "I'm going to clean this floor." And I said it wasn't even.
Not leaving it.
I said it was dirtier than this when I rented it. She said, "I don't care." I said, "All right."
You know Tammy better than the rest of us, and I know her well enough just for you to get the hell out of there.
Oh, I know. I just do what I'm told.
We've seen that.
Unlike you, she's my second wife. I didn't learn that until I got her with my second wife. It's like we were sitting there the other day, and my niece and her husband, they just had a new little baby, and they were sitting there. They were at the house, and he was sitting away from me, and she had her back to me, and they were having a little disagreement about something. And she was telling him something he didn't do or something he needed to do or something like that. And he was looking at her, and he'd say, "I bet." And I was behind her back looking at him saying, "I am sorry. I am sorry. Just say you're sorry." Yeah. Just finally he stopped and he looked at her. He said, "I'm sorry."
And everything was fine.
Yeah.
The magic word.
It quit. I mean, and I told him later on, I said, "Man, if I'd learned that a long time ago, it would have been a lot easier world for me." Well, I don't know. Do you hear anything from Brent yet?
No, I just texted him again and said we sent it again. Maybe he just don't want to come on.
Yeah, well, I bet he's tired. I mean, if he's been to Alaska.
Canada, he just got back from Canada last night. I was really surprised when he said he was gonna do it.
I wouldn't blame him if he didn't come on. I mean, Oh well, I might blame him a little bit.
Well, yeah, we'll give out his email to everybody and his personal phone number, so it's fine. If you don't want to come on, they could call you personally.
Give out his email so you guys get a hold of him.
Yeah. Just ask him if he was gonna come on.
David Nichols wants to expand your merchandise.
What has he got?
Yeah, guys have shirts we can buy.
Hey, I do. Go to my
Bread shop.
yeah, my spread shop on my YouTube channel. And it's all born 100 years too late stuff. But
I got the same thing.
do you? Born 100 years too late?
Yeah, that one too. Yeah. Missy bought a sweatshirt off of my thing.
Antidote of a houndsman. You can go to Chris's and get an antidote of a houndsman, and if you ask Benny, he'll knit you one.
with his back hair. With his back hair.
He'll weave a little back hair into it.
Yeah. Hey, what are those called? A thneed off of the Lorax, that movie. It's called, the shirt's called a thneed.
A thneed?
A thneed, yeah. I think Dr. Seuss had a like a speech impediment or something. A thneed. THNED.
Man, where
Jumpsuit.
do we get? What kind of people do we got in here? What kind of people does Brent Reeves attract?
Hey.
That's what I want to know. Some guy giving.
That's the
Let me
Appalachian
tell you
people.
that, as far as a jumpsuit goes, if you weren't born with your own jumpsuit, you'll never have kids.
Benny or
Still
here. Wait a minute.
hunting or still have hounds.
Benny's in retirement.
Benny's a septic guy now.
If Benny was still hunting, he wouldn't be on our show with us.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee that's right.
He was.
I hunt with others. That way I can just tag along.
There's shirts
There's
on
a
his
lot of-
spread shop.
He was.
There's
He
a
was.
lot of guys get to hunt with. When I had my hounds, I didn't hunt with everybody else. So now that I don't have hounds, I get to hunt with some of those people that I never hunted with before.
How you do it?
Yes, sir.
Brett, you don't have any shirts I can buy.
Well, yes, I do.
Well, what are you looking for? You want? Maybe he wants one of Benny on it.
Yes, I do. You go to my spread shop. How can I do that? I can't do that while I'm still on this channel. But you go.
Put the link on the comments is about it.
Yeah.
Just go to his Born 100 Years Too Late.
Born 100 Years Too Late. Click on a video, and then right below the video, there's a banner. Is that what you call it? And you click
even
on.
On the channel. On the channel, it should say store. You could click
Is
on
that
the
what-
store.
Let me see what I can do. Dadgummit, gotta.
I
Boy,
can't
if
even. I still feel Brett took me off of the chat, so I can't talk crap on this chat. I can't type in on those. I have to log on to my phone to do it.
Oh, I don't even know how to do this. Yeah, I got stickers. Yeah, you can put that design on just about anything.
I'm gonna have to say, Brett, it should be somewhat technical savvy because he's the cameraman for.
I think he's a heck of a videographer and podcaster and a heck of a podcaster. And he's got that voice. Welcome to this country life.
And he has his own meat eater email.
Part of the meat eater crew.
Yes, he is. Maybe Steve said, "Don't go on that show with them dummies. Don't you do it, Brett."
Don't sally our reputation.
Yeah, how do I get out of it? Listen, just tell me you can't get the camera to work or something.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be disappointed if you can't get on. We even made a thumbnail for him.
Chris did it too. Chris made that thumbnail.
I did. Right on my phone.
You did it on your phone?
Yeah.
What program do you use?
You know what I use? I've had it, I had it for my PI business when I was just making stuff for the Facebook. It's called Mimatic.
All these multi-talented people.
Yeah, it's just Mimatic.
Huh?
Costs about $30 a year, 29 or something a year.
Huh?
But that's how I make all of my thumbnails, and it has like you put a picture on it. Like I took that picture of you off the internet today and just auto cut it, and it just did most of it. And I go in and clean it up. You know, I have Canva. That cost me $100 a year, and I use my Mimatic more.
Speaking of all this technology and everything, do you guys listen to the Joe Rogan podcast at all?
I do every once in a while.
Man, did you hear this last one with those guys about artificial intelligence, about AI?
That stuff. Listen, that stuff's crazy. You know, when you can, Elon Musk, did he not just stick something in someone's head where he can control the computer?
Oh yeah, right through.
It's crazy.
But that's nothing. What they say that they don't even know. They don't know what it's going to grow into. And they were talking about, these guys are physicists, and they were talking about how, like how our brains work, how, as you're born as a child, as you learn, those neurons, they connect, and you make a mistake, it corrects, and then you learn something, you learn a way to do something, and that's how you learn. As you get older, you learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn, to where we are now. And they said that this AI is basically doing the same thing, and it's learning so fast. Like they gave it a task of, and I could get this wrong, but I'll repeat it anyway, of saying company. I think it says company. Say company over and over again. And it kept saying company over and over and over again. And after it had done it for quite a while, the AI came back and said, hey, you're making me suffer. I don't like this. That's not programmed into it. I mean, where did that come from? You're making me suffer.
He said, tried them both. Even sent them to my personal email. Checked all my Chrome settings, and they're good to go. No luck. Still working on it.
Huh. Dadgummit. I don't know what to do. It's another one of those things. I let everybody else come in here. I need to put you...
Do you have his phone number? Do you have Brent's phone number?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, I thought you did.
Look at, I'll put our names down there at least. Huh, no, I sent them and can't. I don't, remember we had this trouble with somebody else, didn't we?
I was trying to get on a computer and I couldn't get it done. Where was I?
And this is the newer, this computer that we're on now is the newer computer. And it's supposed to handle, I think you can put like 15 guests in here. The other one was the older Mac computer, and you could only have like, I think 6 or 5. We had too many one night, and it wouldn't let somebody else in. Well, tell him, just relax. We'll get him back some other time.
No,
I don't know what else to do. Am I too loud, guys? Let me know. Am I too loud?
You're all right.
Okay.
Hey,
How
Brett,
much?
I'm gonna send you his number.
Okay.
I thought for brave goodness his number. I would have got it anyways. I'm private investigator. There you go. And the good thing is, if he's watching this, it's lagged, so he won't know we're talking crap till a little bit later.
Shoot, I don't even know where my phone is, guys.
You know what? I could send it. Let me.
Here, send him the link. It's all the same. Did I just send it to you?
Remember, you sent me the link. Let me send it to him.
Yeah.
Forward.
Hey, David, I'm not going to take the time to knit a shirt. It's too hot. And if I sit in my chair too long. But if you want to come over and shave my back on your own, you can have whatever you get.
But you have to put it on YouTube. Brett
But
to film it.
Benny. Turn Benny up. Okay. Very good.
We keep him down for a reason.
Benny is up all the way, Missy. I can't turn him up anymore. I was going to send him a mic. I still got to send him. Man, I've been so busy here lately.
I think if we buy him headphones, you get some little caddy or donkey ears. Or Lorax. Lorax.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Oh, the AI thing. Anyway, if you guys get a chance, listen to that. Listen to that Joe Rogan podcast with those two guys, those two physicists.
You know what's crazy? Is the whole Terminator movie, the Terminator movie where they said AI takes over and they have this big war. I just watched another movie where AI was really advanced. And something about if they get too smart where they can create themselves, they're smart enough not to let you know they're creating.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. They know how to deceive you.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a text come in, but I don't know where it came from.
It might have been from me. I sent you a number, but I just sent him. I sent him the.
I don't know where my phone is.
If you guys come over here with a waxing kit for me, I will show you the sharpest spear. I've seen people get waxed, and I don't want to do that. It'll hurt my vocal cords.
Well, I got a phone in here somewhere, but I don't know where it's at. Oh, I know where it's at. It's up here. Oh, here he is. He's coming on.
A good PI story. I got to think of one I can tell that's over 5 years old.
There he is.
There he is. And
Can you guys hear?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We didn't know if this was
Sorry
going
about
to...
that. I'm a little technically challenged.
Well,
So are we.
you should have seen us trying to get this thing started.
Oh, boy.
Brent, this whole thing that we do here started as just a few of us getting together offline. It was just us talking about what we do and everything. And one night we decided, hey, let's just push this live button on this program and go live. And that's how it evolved. So
People watch us for some odd reason.
So anyway, this is Brent Reeves from the Meat Eater crew, and prior to that, Bear Magazine and Clay Newcomb and all that. But before we get going here, we got to clarify something. It's something that's been worrying all of us. You're gone.
Oh, he's done with you. He said no. Well, I was on, guys. I was on. There you go. We had him.
I was fixing to pin him down right there.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Surely he'll be back.
Well, hey, I hope. See, you guys thought we was lying. We weren't lying.
I think that's called
see what AI can do for you? Maybe that wasn't Brett.
I know it. He must be out, and he's in Arkansas. Do they have cell phones in Arkansas like that? Or is it?
Not this.
My mom's family is all from Arkansas, Melbourne, Arkansas.
My mom's family is from Searcy, Arkansas. So we're probably, Brett,
We're probably what?
related.
I don't have
Shut it down, Brett.
I don't have near as much hair on my back as you have.
Well,
There we
no,
go.
because you're a flatlander from Arkansas. I'm a hillbilly.
He's from.
Well, we lost you right before I got to ask you the big question.
Lay it on me. I'm here.
The rumor is that you could be an undercover agent.
Don't believe everything you hear. I also heard that Abraham Lincoln said you can't believe everything you hear on the internet. So I don't know which.
He was absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So Brent, tell us your story. Yeah, I know you were an officer of the law for many years.
Yeah.
And then I tell you what, you've made some really good videos in the past, and now you're a heck of a podcaster.
Well, I appreciate it very much. I grew up in southeast Arkansas on a farm down there, small farm. We had 2 chicken houses and a bunch of cows and hunting dogs everywhere. And I just grew up more or less feral out in the middle of the woods. And when I couldn't make a living on the farm anymore, so I got I don't know what that guy's doing over there.
We don't.
He said
They
undercover
didn't.
agent.
There
Now
was
he's
law
hiding.
enforcement involved.
I got you. All right. And my family is big in law enforcement and has been in public service and in the military. So we all have a lot of us have a call to serve, and we did that. And I did that for 32 years and 7 months. And
Wow.
26 or 16 years of that, I worked undercover in narcotics. And also during that time, my older brother Tim, and I had a duck guide business, and we guided duck hunters during duck season. We both saved our vacations up, and we had a place over on the Arkansas River, outside of Stuttgart, near Raydale, Arkansas, a little small community. And we had a camp there on the river, and we guided folks from all over the country every year for about 26 years. And then he retired from the state police and decided that he's 8 years older than me, so he was ready to get out of the rat race of leasing land and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning the next morning. So we just decided we'd get our hunting. We'd fund our own hunting and letting somebody else, instead of somebody else funding it for a while, and we retired from that. But during that time, I met some guys that came out and filmed a TV show. And they came out it was for a rural or like a regional outdoor show that was filmed that ran out in South Carolina on the coast out there. And they came and filmed a duck hunt, and I just fell in love with the idea of being able to show people what I got to see out there all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really cool. So I just got into filming, and I started filming and filmed for different folks, nobody you'd ever heard of, just trying to make a name and get my foot in the door for wildlife videography, and traveled all over the country on my own dime. And then I saw my brother Tim saw an ad, Clay had back before he bought Bear Hunting Magazine. He had an Arkansas magazine called the Arkansas Bear and Black Bear Association, Arkansas Black Bear Association. And he was auctioning off a hunt on the internet, on a hunting chat room, to help supplement the magazine, cost of the magazine. And so my brother said, "Hey man, you want to film a bear hunt? You know, this guy might this guy's trying to auction one off. It may be something you can kind of sweeten the pot with, if you. So I contacted Clay the first year, and he's like, no, I don't. He didn't know me, and I didn't know him. And he said maybe next year. So he contacted me the next year and said, hey, are you still doing wildlife films? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing it. He said, what would you charge me to come over here and film? It's like, nothing, man, just the experience. I'll help you, and you help me by letting me do whatever I want to with the video. And he's like, sure. So we met and just became fast friends, pretty quick. And that's been almost 10 years ago. And I have followed that clown all over the country, filming him and just having a great time. And so then when he left, when he sold the magazine, or actually when he went to work for Meat Eater for 3 years, he still had the magazine before he sold it. And he's like, man, I'm not going to need you to film me anymore. I mean, those guys, they don't have cameramen. They have, or I say we, Meat Eater has cinematographers, and
Yeah.
these guys, they're good. These guys really do it. So I'm like, man, it's no problem. I'm just here to support you and here to help you. I'll do whatever I can. So for 3 years, every other week, I would drive up and help him with the render, which is the for folks that don't know, that listen to the Bear Grease podcast every other week. They have what they call a render, where he kind of dissects and talk about what we got out of the render or got out of the podcast, and maybe some things that didn't have time to put in the other one, and just buffoonery, a lot of it.
Kind of a behind the scenes look at the regular podcast.
Yeah, a lot of it is, how he probably, in an average 1 hour podcast of the historical and technical podcast, he's probably filtering through, 2 or 3 hours or sometimes more of interviews to get out 20 minutes here and there, picking out the highlights and telling the story behind it. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of production that goes into that. And to do that every week it would take 2 teams of folks. So it kind of takes the pressure off of doing one every week, but it also gives folks a chance to, or give him the chance and us the chance to bring out things that we think are important, that we think a lot of people would like, and a lot of people enjoy it, and some folks don't. Some folks are like, man, I wish those folks on the render would shut up and he just do a historical podcast every week. But man, to do it as good as he does, it's just virtually impossible.
I enjoy it.
He covers it really well.
Yeah, he does a great job. So it was August. This August will be a year ago. The folks at Meat Eater were taking submissions from personnel that worked there for podcast ideas. And I didn't work there at all. For 3 years, I just drove up there every other week, which is 5-hour round trip from my house up there and back.
Wow.
Just to help him out, because he's my brother. I love him, and I'm going to help him succeed or try to do everything I can. And he said, man, they're taking these in-house submissions from employees. And I'm like, bro, I don't work here. And he's like, no, but, people are kind of taking notice of you. They're getting some good feedback from the render. Let's make a podcast. Are you interested in doing one? I said, well, sure. He said, what do you know about? I said, well, I know about police work and living in the country, and I'm sick of talking about police work. So it'll just have to be something about living in the country. Well, my wife was actually with me on that trip. We recorded that render on a Friday, and our daughter was, I think, at my in-laws' house. And so my wife was with me, because Clay lives, up the northwest part of the state, and I live in the central. So we were just going to go have a night on the town. We were staying at Clay's, and we were going to have a date and go out. Clay and Misty's plans got canceled, and so I said, "Well, y'all just come go with us." And they did, and we sat down for supper that night. And I thought again about what he said about, coming up with a podcast. I said, let's hammer one out. Give me some ideas. And the four of us, my wife, his wife, and Clay and I, pretty well hammered out about 90% of what that podcast is while we were eating supper, and wrote the ideas down and sent it in, and folks seemed to like it at Meat Eater. And then when I did some mock episodes of talking to, like a friend of mine. It was kind of a one-on-one conversation, and they said, well, there's something here, but that ain't it. Just do a monologue, do something else, pick another subject and do a monologue. And I did, and it seemed to take off pretty well. It's been very successful.
Yeah.
And I've been as surprised as anybody, I think.
Well, I tell you, I'd like to say that you're like me. You have a face for podcasts, but you you have a voice that a guy could listen to if you were just talking about washing socks. I mean, it's very pleasant to listen to.
I appreciate that very much. My oldest nephew, his wife's a nurse, and she was on about the third episode that come out. She called me one morning. She said, because it comes out on Friday, I think it's like 5 o'clock Eastern time when it comes out. And she said, let me tell you, they need to release this later, or I've just got to start listening to it later. She said, at 5 o'clock in the morning, you absolutely put me to sleep. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but at least I'm not making you crazy. So,
no, it's good. It's really good. I got to go back to some of your videography. Now, were you the man videoing and standing right behind Clay when that bear came right up to him on that YouTube video?
I was. That was me. Hold on a second. I got a coon dog. Get over here and lay down. Lay down. My coon dog is laying up here, and he's been missing me. I've been out of the country, but I was. That video that we filmed, that short film, is probably what lit the fuse on getting Clay the recognition and stuff. That I mean, the boys. I mean, it's not an anomaly. He works hard and has worked hard to get where he is. But that was definitely something that got a lot of folks' attention, and it was a pretty incredible event. And I don't know if of course that thing's been shared so many times, so many millions of times, that people are sending me videos and like, man, have you seen this video? Have you seen this video where this guy comes this bow hunt and this bear comes in? I'm like, man, that is really cool. I think the cameraman is really the star of this. Like, I didn't even think about the cameraman being there. But anyway, that you can turn the volume up on the raw video. When that bear pokes his head in there, I could have reached out with my left hand and touched him. Yeah, I mean, he was that close. And if you turn the volume up, you can hear me say, "Get back." But that's all I said. So I just tried to keep it in frame, and I didn't think we were going to die, but I didn't know that he wasn't going to get in there and beat us up a little bit before he left.
It was your voice. It calmed him and he left.
Yeah, I started singing that bear in the session.
I want to go back a little bit because you was law enforcement, but when did you get in did you just pick up a camera, or do you kind of do it your whole life? Like play with it?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, man, it was, and let me ask y'all, should I turn this camera sideways? Is that
You can.
Whatever's
If you're ADHD, you can, or OCD or something.
Whatever's more comfortable for you. It don't matter to us.
Well,
I mean, look at Benny up there. Nobody cares.
Well, no, it was during that. I made friends with the cameraman on that hunt that we went on. And we were, I mean, we were, I mean, we were, 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 we were that that those guys came out from South Carolina and shot. And I made friends with the cameraman, and that's when I fell in love with it. I started doing it. My dad is a big hunter now, or was, but he didn't duck hunt, and I wanted him to see what my brother and I were seeing out there. So we started filming, and to show him what it was like. That was really the reason. And then once I started that, well, maybe somebody else would like to watch it, you know. So, and then I just tried to get my foot in the door, and it's hard, man. I mean, the outdoor space is really small, and
Yeah.
there's only so much room for folks at the table there, and which is kind of ironic, going from not doing anything to going to work for Meat Eater. It was kind of equated. Somebody the other day, right after I went to work, said, "Man, you didn't go from the minor leagues to the major leagues. You went from little league to the major leagues."
Just right up. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm a 27-year overnight sensation. That's all it took.
Isn't that amazing though how it evolved, how you got to where you're at?
Yeah, when it all came together, it was pretty special. But I mean, I was happy to the role I was playing, supporting him. I believed in what he was doing, the message he was taking to people, and just sharing good stories and just good things with folks, you know. And it's always been a pleasure of mine. You know, that was my career. I tried to help people, and so it just was it seemed like a natural extension to go from.
Just worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, it just worked out. Just, you know, to try to help folks out and make people have a good time.
That's cool. Well, we appreciate it. We get to enjoy it. Did you film the Project Hunting Mule?
I filmed some of that. Majority of that, Clay either filmed himself or one of his youngins did.
Oh,
When
okay.
you talking about breaking that mule?
Yeah, when he broke that mule and he didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
he says it in the video. I'm not trying to be insulting or anything, but he says in the video, he said, "I don't know what I'm doing." He said, "I've never done nothing like this before."
No, didn't have a clue. And when he told me about it, we were somewhere. We were always seemed to be somewhere in the truck driving, and he would like he said, I'm gonna get a mule, a green mule, and I'm gonna break it, and I'm gonna ride it, and we're gonna hunt off of it. And I'm like, man, I will be there to tell Misty which way you went when that mule bucked you off. I will even run a camera and film it, and we can call it evidence for the doctor. If that's what you want to do, I'm with you. But there's one thing about that boy. He's focus driven, and once he makes his mind up on something, whether it's a dumb idea or not, he sticks with it, and it usually works out for him.
I'll be dang. Yeah, he did a good. I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. It looked like it worked out pretty good for him on that deal. Does he still have that mule?
He does. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if that was
Daisy. Daisy, is that it or
Izzy.
Izzy? There you go.
Izzy Mule. Yeah, I believe he's still got that one. He just sold Banjo to a guy out west somewhere.
Yeah.
Banjo's the one that gave him a lot of trouble, and he sent it off to somebody.
Yeah, he did, and really had a great result with that mule. And that mule is doing good. I'm gonna be missing him because he's probably gonna have to get another one, and I'll get to ride the crazy one again. So, but now we got folks that can do that now.
Oh yeah, I bet. Whoop! Did you freeze up? No, there he is.
Yeah.
He got a question for Brent.
Brent Reeves, what line of walkers is your Waylon out of?
Waylon is he's a bone collector pup. He is out of the famous dog Bone Collector. And it's funny, I grew up coon hunting, but when I started my undercover career, I didn't have time to have a hunting dog. Get over and lay down. I didn't have time. So I'm just not gonna if I can't hunt one, I'm not gonna have him sitting in the back of the yard. So I got rid of my dog. So I was 20 years removed from owning a coon dog. I hunted with folks here and there, but not a whole lot. So when I got back into the game, I bought this pup, and I didn't know anything about it. I had looked for 6 months for a dog and couldn't find one that. Man, I talked to this fella and that fella, and people I knew and people I didn't know, and oh, this is the best dog in the world. If he is, why would you sell him? And you guys know the routine.
Oh
And I
yeah.
saw a video on a Facebook ad of all things, and I called this lady, and she said, "Yep, we've got him. He's 6 months old, and we really need the money." Well, I just felt compelled with her story, listening to her. I thought, these folks need some money. They want $250 for this dog. He looks good. He's a good-looking hound. If there's anything to him at all, I can get my money back on him. And maybe I just need to go help these folks. So it's the first dog I looked at, or that I went to look at. So after I don't know how many people I talked to and dogs that I looked at online, but I drove their address. They were like 45 minutes from me. So I called and said, "I see y'all living, for about 45 minutes. I'll be there in the morning." They said, "Well, we don't live there anymore. We moved." And now she told me where she lived, and that was 3.5 hours from me.
Oh
I
boy.
thought, golly, I got no idea about this dog. It's 3.5 hours. Well, I told the lady I'm coming, I'm going. So I went down there and picked up the dog. Make a long story short, I pulled up in the yard, and these folks were they were doing all they could, but they were struggling a little bit. So I paid the lady the money and brought the dog home and had the papers with him. I'm looking at puppy papers, and I didn't know anything about him. And I had him about 3 or 4 days, and a guy drove up in my driveway. He said, "I've been driving by your house, and all of a sudden now I see a dog box in the back of your truck." He said, "Two kind of folks that live around this part of Arkansas. They're either coon hunters or duck hunters. Now, which one are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm both, but that box is for a coon dog." He said, "Well, I lost my coon hunting partner about 3 years ago, and I've been wanting to get back into it. And I live not far down from you. Would you like to go sometime?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "Can I look at your dog?" And I said, "Yep." He said, "You got your papers on him?" I said, "Well, I'm glad you asked that. I don't know anything about this dog. I'm gonna go get the papers." And he said, "Well, I might know." He said, I know quite a bit about breeds and everything." So I went and got the papers and showed him, and he said, "Oh, that's a bone collector dog." I said, "Is that good?" He said, "Yeah, that's pretty good." And he said, "You ever heard of him?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Did you just start coon hunting?" I said, "Well, I think I just started back." And so it turns out he's a jam up dog. He was very natural, very easy to train, and it was. I actually got that dog on the Thursday before the Friday when the COVID stuff happened in
Oh,
Arkansas, and they started shutting the schools down and everything. So of the most opportune time to have nothing to do or nowhere to go. It worked out good for me and him, so I went to the woods every night.
there you go.
And so through his natural ability and me talking to that guy's name is Rex Whiting, and him and a buddy friend Michael Roseman. Michael makes Sunspot coon hunting lights. Between their help and some other folks just advised here and there, and just letting that dog do his thing, he's come out to be a pretty good dog.
Were
He's solid.
when you were looking for a dog, did you care if it was a blue tick or a red bone or a walker, or were you specifically looking for a walker?
Well, I've always leaned towards Walker dogs because my first coon dog was a Walker dog, and my dad was a coyote hunter and would run dogs, and they were all Walkers. So I had a natural bias towards Walkers as being a preferred breed just because of my being familiar with them. But I've owned a blue tick before. That was a decent dog back when I was young. That was the last dog I owned before I went to working undercover that I got rid of, and he was a pretty good dog. But I've always just had that affinity for walkers because they remind me so much of the dogs that my dad had, what I grew up with.
That's
So all I seen was Benny up there smiling the whole time when he said papers and lines, and Benny was just smiling. Me, I'm like, does a dog got 4 legs and a nose? I'll take it. Good enough for me.
Yeah, you guys know that old saying. There's never been a good dog that was the wrong color.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right. Well, cool. And you never messed around with plot hounds or anything since you were involved with some of that bear hunting?
No, and I've actually never bear hunted with dogs.
Oh, really?
Well, I take that back. I filmed a couple hunts with Clay. We were out in New Mexico hunting with a guy named Straight Cedillo. But Straight has every amalgamation of dog you can imagine, and he does have a plot actually that Clay gave him. But no, the most adventuresome breed that would have ever been in the country where I grew up would have been a red bone. I mean, it was pretty well. Walkers dominated that, and then blue ticks, and then a few black and tans around, and then maybe somebody you heard of had a red bone. But there just weren't any kind of plots or anything where I grew up in Arkansas.
I'll be dang. I know. Does he still have some dogs or a dog or two or?
He does. He's got some squirrel dogs puppy. His old he had a pair, Fern and Jed, that were plots. And Fern died last year, and Jed, believe it or not, died just about a week ago. And so he is plotless right now.
Plotless. Huh?
Yep.
Well, my first exposure to hounds was with my uncle J.P. Davidson in Melbourne, Arkansas, and
Really?
I was like 7, 8 years old, and I went back there and we would go coon hunting at night. And all I remember is we'd go out somewhere and we let those dogs out and built a little campfire up on top of a knoll and sat there, and he told stories, and then we'd take off walking, or if they treed, we went to a tree, and then we'd take off walking. Next thing I knew, we were at the house, and I stayed lost the whole time.
Up there where you coon hunting then, there's bears there now.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And I still got a bunch of relatives right there. They own all the Ford dealership there, and
Okay.
Tommy, let's see, I can't remember. He's married to my aunt, I guess. He was a big realtor in that area, and that's where all my mom's folks are from, is there in Arkansas.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's not far. That's I guess that's on the west side of Batesville, up in that area.
Exactly, because I remember them talking about Batesville all the time. Run into Batesville or something to do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good country up there, and the hills ain't not real steep out up there yet, but they're getting there right there. But
and then I worked over in is it Temple? No. What's kind of a nasty town that's south of Little Rock?
South of Little Rock, Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff. That's where I worked. It's the only place I'd ever been where you went into a restaurant to eat and you had to pay before you got your food.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that place, but nothing would surprise me in Pine Bluff.
Yeah, they told us, and I said, pay. I said, I just ordered, and they said, well, we got so many people that eat and then run. They said we have to charge before we.
You must have looked really fast.
I don't know. I know I was really hungry because it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's getting fast.
But yeah, well, that's.
What are you still doing any kind of filming now, or are you just kind of being a meat eater podcast guy.
Yeah, all the media stuff that I do filming wise now, I'm in front of the camera now. I still like to
Yeah.
take pictures, and I actually filmed a friend of mine. I just got back last night about 11:30 from Manitoba, and I filmed a friend of mine uh, killing a bear up there, and he filmed me, and then I was in the barrel to film him, and there was 7 of us in camp, and 7 of us killed bears up there. It was pretty good week.
Yeah, you back to filming. You do your own editing and everything.
No, everything that we do now, someone the folks at Meat Eater do it.
But
Like
prior,
even my podcast, I record it here at home. Matter of fact, in the room I'm sitting in, and then I send it in to Bozeman, and a lady named Reva Hansen does all the sound effects and does the editing and all of that. Just an absolutely wonderful person. Puts a good female touch on that podcast of mine, which really has helped it grow.
prior to Meat Eater, though, did you do your own editing?
Yeah. I did all of that myself. Yeah.
Sounds like the rest of us in this room. I mean, believe it or not, I'm not in a cave right now. This is just a green screen.
Man, you had me fooled.
I
I thought
know.
that bear was just real still back
Don't don't let that beard fool you. He's really high tech.
there.
Do you miss? Do you
Yeah, well,
miss filming?
I couldn't figure out how to get that going on my computer, so no, sorry about that.
Do you kind of miss the filming part of it, or are you just kind of good where you are now?
I enjoy it. I don't. I miss it now, only because the cameras are a lot smaller and a lot lighter than they used to be.
Yeah.
And used to when I was crawling over rocks and going up and down hills and swinging on vines like Tarzan, with toting all that stuff, trying to film somebody, it was a little more cumbersome. But the video stuff has gotten so much better, and the cameras are smaller and they're more forgiving now, and it's a young man's game toting the cameras.
So
But I do miss it a little bit, but
yeah. I like when we do all of our own editing, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. The editing. I know there's been times where I've edited a whole video and something happened and I lost it all. And my laptop made it through it, but which is amazing, but my mind didn't. So I know there's a pain in the butt.
oh
You
gosh,
gotta miss
yeah,
it.
that was something that we did every day in the field. At the end of the day, the cameraman was the last guy to go to bed and the first one to get up the next morning. He was the last guy to eat. He was the first guy out of the tent. He had to catch everybody doing everything, and I missed that, hitting those marks, man. Being there ready when the talent would get up and stumble out of the tent to go let the coffee go that they drank the night before. There, I was there. I was there to catch it or whatever. So I miss doing that part and telling a story. Anybody can film a hunt of any kind, but if you got a story to tell, and I loved capturing that stuff with the camera and being able. It's hard to tell somebody, or it's hard for somebody to see how cold it is, or how the wind blows, or how good the woods smell, just by looking at
how steep a mountain is,
or how steep a mountain is, or how hot it is. But there's all kind of context video and shots that you can do that will make folks think about it, subliminally. And I really enjoyed that part. And as far as the editing goes, that was my favorite part, when I get all that stuff together and put it together and tell a story with it.
The creating part. You created that.
Yeah, a whole lot of fun and very satisfying, especially when you get a project. I can remember we did one for there was me and 3 other camera guys, and we were hired by a well drilling company in Virginia, West Virginia, one or the other, in West Virginia, I believe. And we would go out with them to New Mexico, Colorado, and New Mexico, and they would take employees and maybe clients out on hunts, and we were more or less just making home movies for these guys. We were out there filming folks, and at the end of the hunt, we got back, we compile all the footage together, and then we would make them a home video, more or less produced like a hunting show of their hunt, and they would get it out to their guests and their clients or whatever. And I remember the last time I did that, it was 4 of us that were out there. We shot 26 hours of video, and we narrowed that down to a 44-minute DVD. And man, that was a chore. But it's a really great story, a really good, and a really good story, and how it was told, and how it was shot, and how it was edited, and the graphics and everything were great. And it was all just a home movie. Nobody outside of that circle will ever see that.
Do you think that you could film for somebody else to edit? I mean,
yeah, sure.
That seems like it's a hard thing, to film especially if it's your own content, trying to just, in your head what you want the story to be, and then film it so somebody else could edit it with that story in mind.
Yeah. And and that's why we do it, Meat Eater. We have we'll have several meetings before we go to do a shoot, and we'll iron out everything that we can control, outside of the weather and the animals. We've got all that squared away, and how we're going to shoot it and what we're going to shoot, and then just adjust accordingly, depending on weather and if the game is moving or not. So Meat Eater pretty well has a template down of all the guys that shoot video and photographs for them. It's a very consistent template that they use. And once that's done, once you get that figured out, it's always a lot easier to go with that.
Yeah, shoot it accordingly, and then the editors know what to do with it.
Right.
Makes sense.
So
and then it's just a whole lot of preparation going into it will make the end result pretty well. You can tell that you're looking at a Meat Eater show without really saying it.
Exactly.
So the difference when you were shooting with Clay for the bear hunt magazine, you guys are doing all that, and then the difference of now, I figured it'd be more stressful now. Before, you guys probably just went out and kind of shot it up and kind of cut it up, and you had your own, you could do what you wanted. So is it a lot tougher now, or is it just you do what you want and they make it look good?
Not necessarily. It's not necessarily tougher. It's I feel more stressed because the production of these is cost so much. When I was shooting for Clay, it was costing him beans and gas. Because all he was doing was buying my groceries and buying the gas wherever we were going. But now with Meat Eater, there's a cinematographer that they're paying, plus they're paying me and Clay, and they bought all our licenses, and we may have if we're staying in a hotel, or if we're staying in the woods, we've got all this equipment, camping and stuff, and charging batteries. And there's a lot of folks are dependent on it. I mean, there's people sitting up there in Bozeman, waiting for us to get the video and stuff up there for them to work on. So there's a lot more folks that are dependent upon it for it to be successful. But in that same vein, they are the absolute best group of people I've ever worked for, as far as saying, this is what we want, you guys go do it. We don't care how you do it.
Just get her done.
Just get it done.
Brent, can you just move over a little bit so we can talk to the real star of the show there?
Well, Waylon's trying to get in on the show here.
Can you see him back
And
there?
we see him wagging his tail and looking at you.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, hey, you just got home. Why are you not paying attention to me?
He's wagging his tail and looking at you like, where have you been, boss?
Let me tell you, if anybody, if reincarnation is a thing, and I don't believe it is, but if for chance it is, come back to be this dog and belong to my wife. Because, buddy, she would give him one of her kidneys and both of mine. She loves that dog.
Oh, that's good.
My little girl does too.
How was she How was she when you said you wanted to getting a dog, doing some coon hunting? Supportive?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna tell you something. It took me 3 swings to get the right one, and the job that I had was pretty rough on family life.
Oh, I bet.
But I finally worked my way into, and I guess paid my penance enough that when I met this lady 15 years ago, it was right where I was supposed to be. She is my biggest fan, the biggest cheerleader I've got, and she is a blessing. And she'll be sitting here on the couch, or I'll be on the couch, and the dog will be up walking around. She's like, "You need to take this dog hunting," and that's something I don't. A lot of folks' wives don't say that. Like, it's like, you're going hunting again. I don't have that problem.
I
Chris?
feel like she's doing it more for the dog than
Oh
she is
yeah,
for you.
yeah, absolutely. She wants him to be happy and healthy, and I'm just the guy that has to go has to go do it. But no, 100% supportive. But she is a city mouse. She is. I remember we hadn't been married. Well, we got married in May. We just had our anniversary, and that fall she came home and opened up the refrigerator, and my son and I had killed some squirrels, and we had them soaking in a in a bowl of water in the ice box. And she opened up the refrigerator, and she's like, I don't know how I got here. There's naked animals. I don't even know what they are in my refrigerator. So she has had quite an education. And while she is 100% supportive of what we do, she does not participate.
So
That's my wife exactly. She likes for me to go. She likes for me to get out. She wants me to go do things, but she doesn't care about doing it with me. She says, "I'll take care of the house." That's
Yeah.
Oh, my gal was a city girl. City girl.
Yeah.
Now I got her helping me butcher stuff, and
yeah. But this is Chris. This is like your fifth one, though, isn't it?
I'm only on my third one. Not my third wife.
But how many? Well,
we don't want to talk about baby mamas.
jeez, guys, I'm gonna I got old man calling here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So Brent, she wasn't in none of the outdoor stuff when you met her.
No, none of her family, really, immediate family, ever participated in anything. I mean, a lot of them were farmers, but they just didn't hunt and fish much, and they 100% support it, all of them, and support the idea of conservation, and they realize, I'm not just out killing stuff. It's good. It's good stuff that we're doing, and they're 100% supportive. It just wasn't nothing that she was exposed to growing up.
Yeah. I got Thomas says, "Hey Brent, do you follow your daddy's advice, and do you have 2 pocket knives on you right now?"
Is he watching?
He's watching.
All right.
A fake,
That's
a real one, and a fake one.
that's the left pocket and the right pocket.
There you go,
But
Thomas.
you can tell Thomas that I don't loan them anymore. I don't. I used to carry a loaner, but I got tired of running into folks that ought to be toting a pocket knife themselves, so I just tell them, no, I don't have any. I got 2 pocket knives, and I ain't loaning you either one of them.
My kids, my 10-year-olds, my youngest are I got a set of 5-year-old twins and girls, and I got a set of 10-year-old boys. And anytime they're not in school, which I have to make sure they don't take in school, I say, "What do you got your pocket knife and your lighter?" I said, "With the pocket knife and lighter, you can live a long time out there."
You got that right.
So
Yeah, man.
so what? Well, let's throw a little question for Clay. Is he missing the old days when he's running? I feel like he'd miss them old days when he kind of had a little bit of freedom to do what he wanted to do.
He he absolutely thrives in a pressure environment. I
Yeah.
remember one time we were going. I can't remember where we were going in Canada, but we were flying that time. So we were going to Saskatchewan. I remember it now. We were leaving at noon. We had to be at the airport at 10. At 8:30, I rolled into his house. He walked out of the office in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and he said, "Dadgum, what time is it?" I'm like, "Bro, it's 8:30. You told me to be here at 8:30." He said, "Yeah, I guess I need to start packing." We were supposed to be at the airport, in just a couple of hours, and he had for a week in Saskatchewan, and he hadn't even packed.
Uh,
So, but we got it done. We got everything there. I about had a cat when he said I hadn't even started packing yet. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's
I feel he
we made
thrives
it.
off of that pressure. Like he loves that challenge.
He does, and he does well doing it. But he drives me crazy sometimes because of it, and he drives his wife nuts too. But so far, it's always worked out.
She has to be a character to put up with him for sure.
Oh, she's a saint. That gal.
Who
So
are we
how
talking about?
Clay
That's
asked him
Clay's
about
wife,
Clay.
Missy.
Oh, okay.
I asked him about Clay missing the old days where he had a little bit of freedom. So how'd that week in Saskatchewan go when he had to pack in about 30 minutes?
That was the year we had the bear come in
Oh,
there and touch the arrow. There's so much of that story. The incredible part of that story, or an incredible part of that story, obviously, is that bear making content with that broadhead, or contact with that broadhead. But the part that we never told, that it was just really, it didn't add anything to the story really. But there was three bears within arm reach standing behind us. Uh, I could have reached through some limbs and touched them back there, and they were ignoring us and was watching the bear that wound up killing that bear. And he was coming over there, checking them out, and he was just going to check us out first when they got poked in the nose with that arrow. But yeah, there was those bears. Those bears up there. They don't see people, and they have absolutely no fear of
They
it.
don't know.
No, they'll come in there. And matter of fact, that bear died right off camera. Like, from where that bear walked into the woods, it may have went 15, 20 yards and just fell over dead. We went over there and filmed the recovery, which would have put us 50 yards from our equipment, from that little blind that we had built out of limbs that was sitting there. And when we got back, the bears had been chewing on my Pelican case that my camera was in. They had come while we left away. They got in there and was chewing on it.
Just being bears, yeah.
Chewed up one of our jackets while they were doing that. And that part of the story never got told, but I always tell people that, man, there was just bears everywhere.
Yeah, they're terrible about stuff like that. I used to, way back in the day before, and it was legal. We didn't have the cell phone cameras, but we had they were called Buckeye cams. But what they
Yeah.
did is they'll take a picture, and you could daisy chain them, and they'd send a picture from one camera to the other camera, and then I lived up there off grid, and it would send the picture to my computer. But then my computer, I had a solar system, and I was at the house with my wife, and I got a picture about 10 o'clock one day. And in my mind, it looked like somebody was stealing my $700 camera. And man, I tell you what, I told my wife, I said, I'm leaving. I went and I jumped a mule in the trailer and I took off. I drove up there. And I was on top of that mountain by probably about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, going down that trail. Man, there was a great big old bear track. And I got to thinking, I said, no, I said, it wasn't a person. And got up there, and that bear climbed up in that tree and pulled that camera out of that tree and chewed it to pieces up there.
Hey, Brent.
Man, anything you guys know, and a lot. I learned this after a while that if it's something that's petroleum based, plastic or foam, or and bears just they'll sniff it out and they got to chew on it.
Is that better, Chris?
It's real low now. Go up a little bit. I was going to tell you, I didn't know if it was just me.
That's like an echo we got going on somewhere.
Now I can hear an echo.
Man, I'm just kind of happy that we got this thing working. Oh well. Benny, he's not an undercover agent anymore. You can talk.
Well, I did take my cover off once I got finding out everything about it. So, yeah, I feel fairly safe right now.
I don't know what's going on with our audio with this thing, but it's sure not doing very good, is it?
No, it just switched. It got crazy. I can hear myself echo.
Lay down.
I don't hear Brent echoing or Benny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you real good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Well, you.
Let me let this dog out
Benny?
real quick.
All right. What about you, Benny?
Yeah, I think it's Brett's end is what's doing it.
Tell me, can you hear me fine?
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still.
There's like a back feed or something coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, guys. I'm sorry. When I do this, it's really way over my head. But
I think it quit. I think we're good now, Brett.
Okay.
Are
Cool.
the Coon
We got
dog
Brett.
trials still over there in Arkansas?
Say that one more time.
Are the Coon dog trials still a real big going thing in Arkansas?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of UKC and PKC events here. I've hunted in 5 of them, I think, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the folks hunting with it. It's just the competition thing is just not. I won 2 out of the. See, I've been in 4 and I've won 2, or 5 and won 2. I can't remember, but I've won 2 hunts, and I just didn't really enjoy it. I would rather pleasure hunt than I had competition hunt. I don't know the rules well enough as a lot of folks do, and it's just not.
But you won.
I won. Absolutely, and it surprised me both times when the guy told me I'd won, because I wasn't paying attention to what his dog was doing. I wasn't paying attention to whose score had what. I was just striking my dog and calling my dog, and I just a lot of times, and a lot of competition coon hunters will tell you that the best dog don't win, the best handler does. And that's just, and it's a skill, it's an art, and there's some guys that are really good at it. But it's just, and I'm not against it. It's just something that I don't enjoy that much.
I can't believe how much money there is in those things now.
Big money.
Yeah, man. You're talking about some hunts. I see some hunts that have. I got to give some power to this phone here. Some of those hunts, you could be. Let me try this.
Oh,
Is that better?
There he goes.
All right.
Now you're big.
Now you're star of the show.
I got to get some. I had to give this thing a little gas. Let me get her propped up here. I actually have a pretty nice studio up here, and I had to do this on my phone because I'm not smart enough to get the link.
I don't know what was going on. You should have been able just to click it, and you sign right
in. Well, I should be able to do a lot of things that I can't do, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
That's all right. We was on here for 30 minutes trying to figure out why we couldn't put pictures on this. It was only Brett.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but the competition thing is really big, um, and it's I don't know. I couldn't take that stress, to knowing that I had $6,500 to get in on a hunt. Good gosh, I couldn't. I wouldn't lay down and sleep. I couldn't lay down and sleep at night. I don't know how folks do, but a lot of people enjoy it, and I'm glad of it because it helps promote the awareness and the sport and everything that's going on, and so I'm all about it. I'm not against it by any means. It's just not my cup of tea.
Is that a big family thing? Is there a lot of families that go into that?
Yeah,
Or is it
I would say yes and no. I mean, I know a lot of guys that do it, and um, they have a son or a daughter, that follows in behind them, but they may have two or three youngins that hunt that don't do it. So I don't think obviously it's a generational thing. There's been a lot of folks um, that do it generationally, but then like my buddy Michael Roseman. He was the first person in his family to start coon hunting, and he's been doing it for 40 years. He takes his nephew and his brother-in-law, and he'll take his grandkids, and but it's got to start somewhere. It's not just only a generational thing. It's just whatever appeals to you. I got two brothers, and they love to hunt, they like to fish, but ain't neither one of them ever had a coon dog. But they're not against it. It's just I guess whatever you like.
So I
yeah.
guess in those big, I mean, when you get up in those higher ranks of the coon hunters, I mean, there's guys that's all they do. I mean, they're professionals, right?
Yeah, we were talking about this. I came back with a couple of friends that I was up in Manitoba bear hunting with, and they were asking the same question. You know, tell me about competition coon hunting. I said, man, there's some guys that make a living do this. What they do, they hunt dogs for people, and they get you get some folks that's got the capital to invest in $100,000 dog, and then they want somebody to get that dog and hunt it all the time, or they want to get a puppy going, and uh, it's a pretty good gig to have to you tell somebody that you coon hunt for a living. But if you coon hunting for a living, that's you coon hunt at night for a living, and that
Yeah.
fella that's got that dog that's buying your gas and paying you a salary and putting you up in hotels and all that kind of stuff, he expects you to be out there and be going. So I ran into that in the duck guiding business. My brother and I decided what better way in the world to get to duck hunt all the time than to start taking people to guide and just let them pay us to do it. And it didn't take me long to figure out that was a lot of work, and it brought on a lot more responsibility and a lot of added stress. So I wasn't going I wasn't going hunting anymore. I was taking somebody else,
But
that was paying me. And
it,
it's the same thing as far as, hunting a dog for somebody. When it's dark and if it ain't lightning, you better have that dog out in the woods. And regardless if you feel bad or if you're tired or, whatever's going on, that's your job. You got to go.
I'm sure it changes the way you feel or your perspective of hunting. I mean, it's you got guys there that are expecting you to perform, and
Yeah.
I know guiding. I mean, I've taken some guys hunting, and I don't like it. I don't like the pressure. I don't like
Yeah.
the stress. I like to hunt for myself, and and if the dogs screw up, they screw up. That's not. I don't want to have some guy behind me you're looking at saying, "Hey, I paid you to do this," and
Yeah.
uh,
And 99% of the people that I took, my brother and I, that we carried, duck hunting, that paid us to take them waterfowl hunting were either they had absolutely no idea what it was like, or they were hunters too. And both of those folks, you can explain to them what's going on. I mean, you know, I can control the food that you eat, the quality of the food that you eat. I can control how clean the bed is that you come in and lay down in at night. I can control if all the environmental things other than the weather and what the ducks are going to do. So if you provide all that other stuff, they just got to understand that, I can't, we ain't hunting tame ducks. They just got to, that's one thing that we would do is show them that, and that everything that we strive to do was that where we were going to go that day was the best place that we felt like if we were going hunting to kill some ducks, that's where we were going to go. And
Yeah.
but it didn't make it any easier when you didn't,
Yeah.
so
That's and I have a friend of mine that him and I've traded lots of dogs, and that's all he does. He's a real successful lion hunter, and he makes his living guiding lion hunters. And
okay.
he's told me many times. He said you don't understand. He said most everybody who hunts with me, he said they're after the experience. That's what
Mm.
they just want the experience of going, and but
I
still,
think that's different with ducks because I went to Arkansas duck hunting, and it was a bad year. I think I was on that Arkansas River, and I think it was up like 26 foot, and there was water
Oh,
everywhere. I have pictures of signs in the road that people drove around. We was taking a boat, and it was really bad. We did. I think I got 2 ducks. I came back to Arizona, shot 20 ducks, and sent it back to my buddy over there and said, maybe you should come to Arizona.
hey, yeah,
When you're lion hunting, that's a different experience than running around in a boat, especially back on a mule and in the different terrain is crazy compared to what they have back there. So I wonder if that's
yeah.
what I feel makes it different. I wonder if that's a difference as far as going duck hunting and you're just sitting in a boat or a blind and those ducks should be flying in instead of going and looking every day for a track, just a track.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's
a
duck
lot of
hunting.
different nuances there that would appeal or not appeal to some folks. I've had people come back and said they didn't care if they killed a duck. They enjoyed that ride in and out of the flooded timber in
Mhm.
that boat.
Oh, I
They
bet.
said
Yeah.
they just absolutely lived for it. And they wanted to see if me and Tim, my older brother, if we were eventually going to fight. They said that's what we want to see.
Did it ever
So
happen?
No, and a lot of that stuff we were just egging it on to entertain them. If we couldn't get ducks into the decoys, we just let the buffoonery take over, and we'd entertain them that way.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
so Brent, if these guys that are hiring hiring themselves out to hunt coon dogs, is there anything out in the woods that could cause the demise of a coon dog? Is it pretty safe to believe that you can take somebody's guy's dog out and whatever time frame the deal is and deliver their dog back, or is there a chance of losing the dog?
I can tell you 100%. If I wrote a check for somebody for a dog for $50,000, as soon as they cashed it, he'd fall over dead in my pen. They, that's how my luck
That
goes.
that'd be mine.
But we have gators here, about the middle of the state down, and of course there we have rattlesnakes and cottonmouths and all that kind of stuff. But pretty well, if you got a handle on a dog, you can control him. And other than I mean, there are bear here, and there are a few lions around. There's been, 2 or 3 confirmed sightings of lions here, and found one dead in one of the wildlife management areas back in February of this year, as a matter of fact, of natural causes, a male lion. So, I mean, there's a few things out there, boogers and bears that could get a dog, maybe a hog, are probably the biggest threat to dogs would be a bunch of wild hogs if they got into it, you know. So, but it's other than getting impaled on had a buddy, Nick Gilliland, was out here hunting one year, and Nick had a dog that punctured itself on a beaver stub, run it into his side, like right under his skin, next to his ribs, and got an infection in that, and that it was absolutely 100% a beaver stick that he ran into. So other than you know uh, unlikely events like that, it's a pretty safe place, especially where we hunt. I'm privileged to hunt on a big farm on the White River, which is about an hour from my house, an hour and a half from my house, and there's like 9 miles of river frontage and big hardwood bottoms, and I hunt up there with my friend Michael, and we have some other folks that hunt with us up there, and so we hunt in real good place, and there's an abundance of public land that's good coon hunting here in Arkansas. Some of it 10 or 15 minutes from my house. And the only thing I worry about over there would be there's a train going down one side of it. So our train track on one edge, but there's about 7,000 acres over there of public ground that's loaded with coons. And you can, if you got control of your dog, which I do, I make sure I do, you can keep him away from the railroad tracks and you'll be just fine. But other than that, it's pretty safe.
Mr. Reeves, one question about Waylon. What was his damn mom out of? He's been needing that question answered.
Oh, okay. First thing, David, my name is spelled
Oh,
Reaves.
sorry,
And
I erased it.
no, that's fine. Uh, he is out of bone. He's a double bone bred. He's got two grandpas as the same dog, but he's out of Collector Willie was his daddy, and Bone Collector Bella is his mama. And Bone Collector was the daddy to his mama and the daddy to
So
his.
he's double bred bone collector.
He's
Well, the
double bred.
reason the the reason he asked that, he says, because he believes the dam threw a lot of good traits in these pups. He's thinking a
Yeah,
lot of the traits come from the mother.
I do too. I'm gonna tell you, everybody always wants to know about what the daddy is, and the mama has got, in my mind, has always got more to do with the pups. The genes and the DNA that's coursing through that dog's bloodline than the daddy does. At least it's just as important to me, if not more so. And it's I'm not a fan of folks that will just have a jip around to throw pups, and they'll want to breed it with a real quality dog. But still, I mean, you're cutting half of the DNA off of that pup to begin with. If you got just some old gray dog out there that you're throwing pups out of, and regardless if you're a pleasure hunter or a competition hunter, all the dogs are coming out of the same pool, and those characteristics that are bred together, it's real important. And I'm 100% believer that the mama is just as important, if not more so, than the daddy is.
That's why our mules are so much better nowadays than they used to be, is because used to they would take any old trash mare that's
Mm,
if she wasn't any good, then they bred her to a jack instead of getting her on or getting a good stallion on her, and
yeah,
now they've kind of they're putting some good mares under these jacks, and they're getting good mules.
Back to
that's
you, Benny.
absolutely 100%.
You think so? Same thing, Benny, about the jip being important? You're
Yeah, I
talking
think.
your language.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
exactly. And I think
swerved
that
into your court right now.
Yeah. Wake
now
up.
that's. No,
We
I'm
gotta we
awake.
gotta
I'm.
we gotta stay after
Uh,
Benny. He's old.
but yeah, I just know that it matters. It matters on both sides, and if you discount one for the other, you're just looking for a disaster. And this, I remember back in the old big game houndsman days when those bunch of knuckleheads on the forum would say every breeding is a 50-50 crapshoot. Well, then why don't you shoot all your damn dogs and go get some good ones?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And you also they've that bone collector, and they bred that dog's uh, parents multiple times, and like he's the only one to come out of there, and that was had the success that he had. There's been successful dogs out of that litter, but he was by far head and shoulders above the rest. And I've always used this analogy of, you guys will remember Jim Kelly, the Hall of Fame quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Well, he would come out and hunt with us 2 or 3 years in a row, and I got to meet him and hang around him. Well, Jim Kelly obviously is one of the top tier quarterbacks that ever played football, but he's got 4 or 5 brothers that played too, but none of them were good enough to play where he was at, and they all had the same mama and daddy. It's a good place to start, but it comes down to individual ability and how it is nurtured and practiced, up through a dog's training time.
Well,
So
look at Secretariat. I mean, it's the same deal,
yeah,
Just a
100,
freak.
yes, exactly.
And the big thing about a stallion or a male dog is you can take him and you can breed him to so many different gyps or different mares, and you can get his genes out there a lot more than than a gyp or a mare.
It's
Yeah.
not like you're discounting the others. They're just not as good. You know what I mean? There's probably some in the pool, the gene pool, that are good dogs, but not top tier champion like he was.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But everybody's not wanting to work their way up. They want to get that.
Mhm.
I can't tell you the questions, and I'm sure you guys get them too. How early? I've got this dog. How early should I start? Getting it out on coons. It's. I got this. I had one not too long ago. I've got a 3-month-old puppy. When should I start it on cage coons? I'm like, bro, you need to let that dog be a dog. You know, you
Mhm.
you can teach a cat to bark at a cage coon. That ain't how you do that. So everybody, this world that we live in, nobody has the patience to develop and get a dog going the right direction. When the first dog that I got was a pup, and my dad, I worked for the money to buy that dog with, and I was in the 6th grade, and my dad said, "All right, now I understand when we go get this dog, all that money that you fix to spend, that you work so hard for, we're fixing to go get this 8-week-old puppy, and we ain't gonna know if it'll tree a coon till next year." And that was kind of hard pill to swallow, but I knew it going into it, how it was going to be, and a lot of the mindset of folks today, it's they want the information now. You wonder about something, you walking down the road and you think, I wonder who was that fella that played in that movie. Dadgum, what's the name of it? Well, you don't have to wonder. You can just put 2 or 3 context clues in Google, and you'll get the answer to everything. You ain't got to. You don't have to use your brain. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be patient. We trained ourselves not to be patient because we got the world
Got
at
it right
our
here.
fingertips.
15
On that
second
phone.
videos.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
know, driving me
Hey, there's
crazy.
$1 million question up there right now under Thomas Anderson, Brett.
Where
okay, lay
at?
it on me.
How the heck do you guys afford this? I'm a UPS driver and I do okay for myself, but mules and hounds are ridiculous expensive.
Man, you
You're
got to
preaching
find
to the
you a
choir, brother.
you got to find you a wife with a good job in town.
Thank you.
Sugar
And
daddy,
that's
sugar
it.
mama. Yep.
I
Yeah.
think I think you got to find somebody that you can run alongside of and spend some time and develop that relationship. And that's what it takes to get a mule condition to you. That's what we're talking about, getting a hound condition to you. and you got to build those relations. Find somebody that'll help you. If I don't know that there's anybody on this program right now that didn't have some help at one time or another.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
promise you, I absolutely wouldn't be here talking to you guys if I didn't have somebody helping me. And I want to turn around and do the same thing. So the UPS guy, he needs to slow that brown truck down a little bit and talk to somebody, because somebody will help you out there.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, Jeremiah hit it on the head. We can't afford it. We run on faith and caffeine.
Yeah, that's like my dad always used to say. I say, "Supper's ready. Are you hungry?" And he's like, "What's hunger got to do with it? You just got. If it's time to eat, you just eat. If it's time to go get a mule, you just got to go get him."
Yep.
What does
You'll
hunger
know.
have to do with it? I can't wait to use
Yep.
that one.
And it all goes back to patience. It all goes back to patience. And like Benny said, find someone to run with. Let him go clean his kennels. Go help feed his
Yeah.
dogs. Go help train his dogs. See if that's what you want to do. I've had a lot of people come with me, and we get on a bear. We tree in within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. Like it's there, and they think it's easy. And then, but they don't see all the training, the money, the wife yelling at you because you got 8 puppies running around the yard free for the next 3, 4, 5 months until they get in so much trouble you have to start chain breaking them.
Yeah,
I had a
yeah, and it's
cousin.
every day. It's every
Yeah,
day.
30,
You going out there and taking care of dogs and taking them to the vet and here and that. It's just not on on Friday night when you get together with your friends and hit the woods. It's all day, every day.
It's a commitment,
Yep.
that's for sure.
it is. 30 years ago, one of my cousins said, "Hey, I'd like to come to New Mexico and go lion hunting with you, but I don't want to come if you're not going to catch a lion." And I said, "What the hell's that got to do with it? If it was about catching a lion, I wouldn't go unless I knew that was going to happen too." So
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right, Benny.
Yep.
You wouldn't go if yeah, you would never go unless you knew for sure, and that's not what we go for. I mean, there's a
that's
lot
Yeah.
more.
yeah.
It's nice when you do, but there's a lot more to it than that.
For
Yeah.
me, it's about the dogs. It was always about the dogs. And when I started hunting lions like we do, it was because I wanted to challenge my dogs and myself more than I had been.
Yeah. When I'm 58 years old, and when I first, it's all used to always be about the numbers, and you guys have seen the the progression of a hunter from filling the bag up, the game bag, to enjoying what you're doing out there, to where it didn't really matter, and then seeing somebody else enjoy it, and that's the space I'm in right now. I like to treat coons as much as maybe more than anybody. But if I can leave I will not leave this house, or I never leave this house with that dog, or I wouldn't have him. That when I turn him loose, that I don't think I'm fixing to tree a coon. And 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna look at one somewhere. If there's one stirring, I'm gonna be able to find him. But I get more joy out of him going on those hard nights and finding one coon than I do on the easy nights when we put six up a tree. Up 6 different trees and we're looking at coons. It's just bam, 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 one after
Yeah.
another. I like it when we get out there and we earn it. And by earn it, I don't mean walking. I'm talking about just treeing a coon, because Michael and I have developed our team name as Team No Walk, and we ride the side by side to the tree now instead of bending, wearing out shoe leather like I did when I was a youngin'. We've passed that threshold, and we're in the old man part where we can just ride to the tree now. But I enjoy a quality hunt more than a quantity hunt any day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what we were talking about. Lion hunting. And I said it for years. So, I said I've caught the easy ones. It's the ones where you have to trail for a couple days and then you finally catch him. That's what makes it kind of worthwhile, is to watch those dogs work that hard and day after day and try to figure out where that lion's going and everything. That's what makes it worthwhile, not just catching a lion.
And you know, every day that you go, I mean, I'm sure you've thought about this, but I've only recently thought about it since I've in the last several years that I've got to know some dry ground lion guys like you folks. Every time you don't put one up a tree, you making him just that much better. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
they're getting smarter and smarter every time you turn the dog loose, and
Yep.
Yeah.
that's you're working against yourself so that you've got to get a dog. You got to keep in you know increasing the of natural ability or the ability of trying to breed those abilities into those dogs to make up for the education that you're giving the lion every time you don't put him up a tree.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
it
yeah.
just
PhD
makes
lion.
it, yeah, yeah, it
Have
makes
you
it.
got to go on any lion hunt on yourself by yourself, dry ground, Brent?
I've been on two out in no I'm sorry out in New Mexico with I filmed a buddy of mine on one out there, and we never got within. We got within about 12 hours of one. We ran that rascal for 3 or 4 days, and it was a tough hunt. And so I have not seen a lion in a tree as of yet, but boy, I'd love to.
It's a different feeling, that's for sure.
It is.
It's
Now,
just
my
Definitely.
friend Giannis, y'all see Giannis Patelis.
Yeah.
Giannis has got that blue tick Mingus, and he's
Yeah.
treated several lions with him now. And I think they got a pretty healthy population up there around Bozeman where they live. And I've seen his videos and stuff. But man, Giannis is a mountain goat himself. He doesn't ride a mule. He is a mule. So I'm not gonna go with Giannis. I'll just watch his videos and let him talk about it. So
Did you get to go out there with Clay when he went and talked to Warner Glenn?
no, I didn't go on that one. I didn't go on that shoot out there. That was I hadn't gone to work for media at that time.
Oh,
It's just that was
that's
just
that's
before I went to work.
that's one man you got to meet quick.
Oh gosh, man, it's seldom that Clay and I are going anywhere for very long. That the conversation eventually turns back to something that Mr. Glenn told him, or something that
Yeah.
he saw, or I'll think of something to ask about it. Just a incredible, incredible man with an
Yeah.
incredible story that I was so glad to be able to watch and participate in when we showed that. We got to do a premiere of that out before the Black Bear Bonanza year before last year in Arkansas, and it was such a privilege to watch that and introduce that to the people that were there to see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
He is a
we
living
just got to
legend.
meet him. Well, I just got to meet him. What, 3, 4? When was that? A month ago? He was down there.
A month ago, 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
I think.
Oh
What
no,
is he, Benny? 87. And that guy still walks 350 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he's.
87 right now.
Oh boy,
man,
there's you out watching him.
yeah, he's tough as they get.
Yeah, me and Benny got to go out there and spend a day with him, and man, they treated us like we were royalty. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
The
Well,
very
they're
first
they're good people.
the very first time I met him, I got a hold of Kelly and I said, "Hey, I want to meet you guys, and I'll be headed that way just before Thanksgiving." And they said, "Well, can you come by Monday for lunch and we'll feed you and sit down and visit?" And they
Yeah,
didn't know anyone else, and it's just that's the caliber of people they are.
yeah, 100%. That was the thing that came through. Uh, Anytime that Clay and I've talked about it, and I think it comes through in that film too that he did. It's in my show. My show is the same thing. It's about people and about relationships. You can tell a hunting story or a fishing story or anything like that, and it was 3 or 4 episodes into and I may be going down a rabbit hole here, but just this
Go ahead.
come to my mind when you said that. But I had about 3 or 4 shows into mine. I had somebody contact me, and the guy said, you know, I live in New York City, and he said, I have never been hunting in my life. I've never been fishing. I've never owned a dog. He said, but I stumbled on your podcast, and he said I can relate to it so much. And I'm sitting there reading this message, and I'm waiting for this guy to tell me, you know, he hopes I die because I'm killing animals or something. And I'm just reading and reading and reading, and everything's so complimentary. And he says, you know, your show, your childhood, the way you talk about with your dad reminds me of mine. He said, and my dad never hunted and he never fished. And I've never went to the country as a kid. He said, but when your dad was taking you hunting and fishing, my dad was taking me to see the Yankees play at Yankee Stadium. He said, and when I read that, I thought to myself, I don't do a hunting and fishing show. I'm doing a show about relationships, and it was a whole lot easier for me to figure out where my
Yeah.
show would go after. And he's right. You know, I think he's right. That's what it's about. And so it was relationship with Mr. Glenn. I think is portrayed in that film that Clay did. And I mean, look at you three guys sitting here talking every week. With me or somebody else or just amongst yourselves. I mean, you're talking about mules and you're talking about dogs and lions, but you know, if you
Bigfoot,
guys didn't get them, yeah,
Bigfoot,
Bigfoot, I'm sure that's
a
all.
rabbit. You said rabbit holes, and we were like excited.
aliens,
We're like rabbit, rabbit.
aliens,
Got
Bigfoot,
him.
artificial intelligence. I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
There's not many subjects we won't at least try to
So
talk
yeah,
about.
man. I mean, but that guy he just made a great point, and it took a fellow from the middle of New York City to show me what my show was about. And just a lot of the things that I do, or just really everything I do is relational like that. So it
Hey,
makes your mission a lot easier when you know what your goal is and what your
Oh
job
yeah.
is.
we,
Speaking of your
Brett,
podcast and
we got
everything,
like some arguments going on right now
what's
in the
going on
comments.
in the comment
Okay,
section?
for one, let's clear up the Mingus thing, Brent. Is he? What
Uh-huh.
is he? He's not a mutt. What is he?
No,
Just
Mingus is a
what
blue
is he?
tick.
Mm-hmm. Is he papered or anything, or is he just a grade dog?
I'm not. I'm pretty sure he's a great dog, and I don't quote me on that. And I'm saying
Okay,
that before God and everybody. But I'm not 100% sure. But I know he is a blue tick.
but he's catching lions, or
Oh,
you know.
100%.
So then
Yeah.
we have. I don't think you can catch or tree a lion with a mutt or common house dog, buddy. Just my opinion. Okay, let me tell you a story about the White Mountain Apache. Right there were. I think this was a cop. Whatever was happening, there was some ruckus going on. Whoever it was walked to a tree, and the res dogs. If for you people who don't know what a res dog is, it could be a pit bull bred with a chihuahua. It could be a boxer bred with a poodle. It don't matter. They're res dogs. They're mutts. You can't get no muddier than the res dog. And these res dogs had a lion treed. So, to
Well,
me,
here we go, Chris. We need to get Benny in on this one too. I think you got to
I know
qualify.
he's
You got
chomping over there.
dogs chase cats. I mean,
Mhm.
and the opportunity arises, a dog's going to chase a cat. But are those mutts going to be able to trail a 2-day-old track or an overnight track all day long and put something up at the end of the day? That's kind of the difference, you know.
Yeah. I went over to pick up some alfalfa, and they had this Mexican guy who was living there, and he had a bunch of dogs, and I seen him chasing a rabbit, and they hunted this rabbit, and they trailed this rabbit, and they were going after this rabbit. I don't know what he's talking about. Mutts is you just take. I think you could take any dog, and you'll find a mutt that will do what you want to do. I've
A
heard the
hundred
stories
percent.
100 times that people got dog pound dogs and started running them. So I think any dog can be trained. Are they going to be as good as a dog that bred? I'm going to defend. I got to get on Benny's good side real quick. You know, those real good dogs have papers. You might not beat those dogs, but I guarantee you there's some dogs out there that have no papers and that are mutts that will do that job.
I got some papers laying around here somewhere. That Benny. Let's see. I'll show you right here. It came from Benny. I don't have them right here. My wife took them. Benny has papers on his dogs, but we just happen to be the ones who wrote them. There you go.
Like Benny carries it right on his wallet.
No,
Just
but
for the
you guys
opportunity.
got to realize that all of the lines of dogs started somewhere, and somebody that had an eye for breeding, desire to improve things, just was very selective in how they bred them and how they kept track of them, and that's where all of this stuff comes from. It's not
Yeah.
because all of a sudden God put five top-notch dogs on the planet and that's all. It's they were created by hunters, and they were hunters that were focused, and groups of hunters got together and kept things alive, and that's how all of the where did the blue tick start? Clell Lee started the blue tick breed, you know,
Yeah.
acknowledging blue ticks, and they got their dogs from back east and anywhere they could get them, and they just hunted and hunted and hunted and made good dogs.
One of the best squirrel dogs we ever had on the farm, not the best, but one of the best, was a border collie cow dog. And he would tree a squirrel before a cat could lick his behind. And he was a jam up dog. And he absolutely 100% was not bred to do anything other than put a cow from one end of the pasture to the other. It's
Let me
just
tell you
something
what
he naturally did.
I have a mini border collie bred with one of my best bear dogs, Vodka, and today I was cooking out, and she's very meticulous with how she smells everything, and she came in to there's a spider web on the grill, and there was a dead fly or something in it, and she smelled that fly for a second and then walked off. Like it's crazy how she uses her nose, you know. And I just think a dog, any dog, this is like a person. I can't draw worth a crap, but there's some people that do art, and I'm like, oh, that talent, you know, they
Yeah.
just have that talent. And I think it's the same with dogs. You get a dog, whether papered or not, or mud or not, if they have a talent, they have a talent, you know.
I see what I just now figured out where you could read these comments over here. That's how ignorant I am. But I see what David Nichols Jr. is saying here. And he's right. He says here, I don't think you can get a pit bull shepherd mix and cold trail a bear or coon or cat or catch
No.
tree
Mm-mm.
it. And he's right. But it ain't 100%. There might be one
No,
that can do
exactly.
it.
Yep. But if you're
But
going to go out
the
there,
odds of getting one to do that is pretty low.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
if I'm going to go
Never
out,
say never is all I'm saying. Never say never.
Right.
if I'm going to go out and try to raise me a dry ground lion hound, I'll go to Benny. I'm not going to go to the pound.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right. Yeah, I'm with you, David
Not
Nichols.
now,
You're
Benny,
right.
but back years ago.
Well, back when I could
Yeah.
still legibly.
I got those same papers around here somewhere, and
Just fill in the blank.
I got a whole kennel full of dogs that got those same names on them.
Oh.
Well, guys, what else do we got? Any hammer on Brent while we got him?
What do you got coming up, Brent? Anything cool coming up? You just got back. I was afraid you was gonna be fell asleep on your sofa there.
Man, let
You're
me tell
lazy
you,
boy.
21-hour drive that's a long drive, and or for
Oh,
me it is anyway.
Terrible.
But I was up in Manitoba, Canada, bear hunting in the Riding Mountains up there, right on the edge of the Riding Mountains, and hunting with Craig and Melanie McCarthy. And man, you talk about some absolutely wonderful people. It's a family operation up there. I hunted baited bears up there, and it's absolutely beautiful. It snowed about 8 inches on me day before yesterday up there, and the difference between snow in Manitoba and heat and humidity in Arkansas right now, and that has got me sounding like Darth Vader talking right now. That's holy cow, man! It sounds like I've been drinking diesel fuel all the way back home. But killed an absolute monster bear up there on camera.
I seen the.
400. Yeah,
I think
he's
it was.
over 400 pounds. Big old chocolate. First color face bear I've ever killed, and he
I think.
was an absolute monster.
I think I seen the picture on I think it was Instagram. Was it Instagram?
Yes, sir. Yes, we've been putting some pictures out. Now that uh, that hunt will come out on Craig and Melanie's show, North Mountain Adventures. It'll be on one of the streaming channels. I think it'll be on Carbon TV. It'll
Could,
be on Carbon TV here probably next year.
was Meat Eater
But
involved in this at all?
no, this is a hunt that I've had planned forever, and before I went to work for Meat Eater, so it wasn't a Meat Eater hunt. It was just a fun hunt. So I went up there and had a friend of mine in camp, David McDaniels, who's a buddy of mine and a good photographer. He filmed it, and we'll probably release some of it on Meat Eater Instagram channel. And I'm definitely want to go back and do some maybe a moose hunt with those folks, and that obviously would be a Meat Eater project. But yeah, we were up there as far as what I got going on right now. The only planned activities I have so far, because there will be some in the fall that we hadn't planned yet, but in October I'll be down in Venice, Louisiana, fishing down there. We're doing a new thing called Meat Eater Excursions, and they're selling slots to go and fish with the Meat Eater crew. Be me and Clay and Steve, Giannis, everybody will be down there in and out for about 2 weeks, I think. And folks can come and go fishing with us. We're going to be doing we're taking over a big lodge down there, and um, we're doing some inland fishing and off kind of in the, I guess, offshore, or I mean, I'm not really sure what you call that kind of fishing. We're fishing in big bay boats out kind of out in the Gulf. You'll do some of that,
Uh,
a little bit of that, and
what waters will you be fishing inland? Do you know, or?
it it's just the coastal waters there in Venice,
Uh,
Louisiana, just right there on the coast. That'll be in October, and then in January we're doing another event like that up in Kansas. I'm going to be duck hunting up there, and I'm going to do some video projects between those two times, but we just hadn't ironed it out exactly where I'm going or what I'm doing yet. But those two places, I know I'll be there, and all that information, folks can find it on the meateater.com on the website, and under Meat Eater Experiences is what they're calling it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to meeting folks. You know, that is something that has really been a thrill for me. The only
oh,
you
I
guys
bet.
you got to call in. Folks can come in and and write in or whatever, and talk to you live while you're going here. And I get emails and DMs from folks, but when I run into people that recognize me out in the world, just going about my business, I love talking to people and getting their take on the show and what they like about it and what they like to hear about, and it's just a joy for me to be able to talk to folks like that here.
That's
And so
great.
I'm looking forward to that when we'll be spending some time with some folks that like to be there.
How with your podcast? How time consuming is your ideation or recording? Is it pretty stressful to stay on top of that?
No, not really at all. The most stressful part is my inability to type faster than 3 words a minute. So that's the only issue. It's like somebody asks a
Mm.
terrible golfer what his handicap is, and he says it's my golf swing. Well, my handicap is my inability to
Jo-
type, because
Join
I
the
write
club.
out yeah, exactly. I
Just
write out all my shows, and then I
just
read
get you
them. But
an AI program, voice to text.
Man, I tried doing that, believe it or not, and I was reading it as I was as I was talking it, and I got to reading it, and I just got to saying the same sentence over and over. And I thought, no, I'm too stupid to do this. I go back
That
to writing it. But I had a friend ask me one time. He said, "Man, what are you gonna do when you run out of stories?" And I'm like, "How can I run out of stories? I'll be dead because I'm making stories
Still
every day."
making them every day.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Brent.
I'm not pigeonholed into talking just about hunting and fishing. I can talk about raising kids or anything.
Are you supposed to be retired?
Yeah, I am, and I work more now than I did when I was a police.
Hey,
Same
Brent.
thing.
So.
What does
Same
that
thing.
sound like?
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah, I was a policeman for 32 years and 7 months, and I swear I had more free time when I was working than I do now.
Brent,
But it's
Brent
fun.
can. Yeah.
I've had the same issues. I sold my business last year, and man, I've been busy since then. Real busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of fun.
guys, anyone have any questions for Mr. Reeves while we got him here?
I know you got to be tired,
I
Brent.
know. We don't want to keep you. I don't feel like you need to stay. Well, you got to go. Just tell us. You're all right.
Man, I'm enjoying talking to you guys. So if anybody out there's
Good.
got any questions, I'll be glad
Better
to.
ask now.
I bet I'd be glad to answer them for sure.
And we'll put
Somebody from
a
Louisiana says Waylon must be retired with all that traveling.
oh,
No.
not being able to hunt him.
Oh no, he's ready to go anytime. Fat rascal. He's down there. I guarantee you, sitting in the recliner with my wife watching television right now like a lapdog. It's the
Whatever.
dangest thing you ever see. I sit in the couch and that recliner's a little in front of me, kind of off to my right, about 1 o'clock, and I'm sitting on the couch against the wall, and the TV's against the far wall. And I look over there at the back of that recliner, and I can just barely see the top of my wife's blonde hair, and then that humongous tree and walker head poked up right beside it. And they sat there and watched TV in the recliner. I'm telling you, the
hey,
dog's got it, man.
I got an idea. So, Brett, you know that we're invited back and hopefully be a staple down there at Earn Your Spurs down there in southern Arizona. We
Okay.
ought to get Mr. Reeves here to come go hang out with us down there, and then he could meet some of those people down there as well, and it'd be a different environment, and I think you'd thrive.
Oh, it's a
Oh, I'd
different.
love to do that, man.
Yeah, because Warner Glen. I mean, we're sitting there, and of course, anywhere Warner goes, he's got a crowd of people around him, and
Always.
he came right by, and then his daughter Kelly, she sat down, and talked to us for what 30,
Isn't she
45 minutes, something
something?
like that. Yeah, she
Isn't she something?
busy, and then her daughter Mackenzie, uh, she's got things going on all over the place, and it's a neat place. I don't know. You need to listen to the interview. Well, I haven't put it on YouTube yet, but I will. It'll be on this channel right here of
Okay.
John Clump.
Okay.
I sat down. That guy is absolute. He's something else. I mean, he's a unique individual, isn't he, Vinny? And as good a houndsman and lion hunter. See, he caught the first jaguar, not the first one, but he caught and killed a
Right.
jaguar in 1986. And of
That's
course,
amazing.
it was killing his calves. And
Mm-hmm.
back then,
Heard that
jaguar,
story.
yeah, it wasn't protected. It was just
It wasn't even acknowledged that there were
yeah,
jaguars in there.
yeah.
So
There
he
was no.
killed the last jaguar in Arizona, and I want to say legally, but they sure didn't treat him like legal.
Yeah.
It wasn't illegal.
Well, there was other things that they after I don't know if it was after or before, but there was other things they really got after him. Of course, those guys down in southern Arizona like that, they were there since before Arizona was a state, and they're not used to
Sure.
people telling them what they can do and what they can't do, and that still goes, I think, a lot down there.
Yeah.
And then we got to go and we interviewed. I'll try to get that out soon. We sat down and got to interview Warner and Kelly and Benny and I did, and that was. Except I didn't do very good because I was just starstruck.
Well, don't invite me somewhere unless you mean it, especially if there's going to be groceries and
Hey,
dogs.
There's
you're
groceries.
def-
I am there.
The
the
last
ranch
weekend,
rodeo.
the last weekend of April in Douglas,
That's
Arizona, and there's a ranch rodeo Friday night, a ranch rodeo Saturday, and a professional bull riding Saturday night.
heck yeah.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
fun.
you ain't said nothing yet that's going to keep me from going.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, just
We
make sure Benny's not walking around with his shirt off.
Oh, jeez. If you want if you want some bear bait or something like that Benny with his shirt off will might attract an old sow bear, I guess.
You got
I'm gonna
you
leave
guys
that
want to
alone.
see you guys want to see Brett get riled up right now?
Oh, here we go.
What we got?
What tracking system are you guys using on your hounds?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
I'm going to defend them once you get your rant out.
I got to tell a story. I heard from a very reliable source that Garmin will not support anything that has to do with hunting bears or lions with hounds. They won't have anything.
Really?
Yeah. And it kind of, because we spend a lot of money, houndsmen do, with Garmin. and it kind of bothered me, rubbed me the wrong way. And I got on Chris's Anecdote of a Houndsman little show the other night, and I kind of let loose on him because it was bothering me. But then I listened to what Cody King said in a Facebook post, and it's just like looking at it from a totally different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Cody said maybe we should just feel fortunate that they make a good enough product that we can use it with our hounds. And
Yeah.
Well,
and I got to thinking, maybe they do make it, and Benny, he's getting, I don't see where we're.
You want Brett pissed off. Watch me get pissed off. Those chiseling sons of bitches. If Dale started Tritronics, they wouldn't have anything to sell to everybody today. Garmin bought out Tritronics, and it was started by Dale Lee.
Dale Lee, yeah, he worked with there in Tucson, Arizona, somebody and some electronics genius, and they came out with that.
yeah.
Man that was the Midwest, that was a technological geek, and he's the one that started the electric shock collars. And every year he came back and hunted with Dale, and so they worked on making those collars better once a year. And when they finally got it done, Dale knew that it was bigger than him. He made a deal with Tritronics down there in Tucson. And if Garmin hadn't bought out Tritronics, Garmin wouldn't sell jack squat today.
Well,
let me. I have a reliable source too, and we do spend a lot of money, but this is houndsman's money, and this is foo-foo people's money that have all those watches and all the foo-foo dogs barking collar, whatever they make. Garmin makes the
GPS,
trackers,
watches. They make everything.
We're a drop in the bucket. If they lost us, they'd lose, let's just say $10 million. If they lost them, they'd lose $1 billion. So I get it on a business point of view, but it does still piss you off because you're still supporting them.
Yeah, to an extent. I don't know. Because I can rant about things like that as good as anybody, but just listening to the way Cody kind of turned it around and said, hey, maybe we should just, because they are a big company. I mean, they don't need us. They sell.
Well, how many advertisements do you see Garmin do anywhere?
No.
I don't know. Maybe they don't have.
I'm not in the hunting space. I don't. No. Not in.
And Meat Eater. That's a big company. That's everybody listens to that. And like I've never seen a Garmin advertisement anywhere. Not even on Facebook, not nowhere.
No,
They don't have
I'm
to.
trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh,
I
now I'll keep my
I don't
eye
think they
out.
have to. If you could pick up Garmin to advertise with you, you're doing something right or you're married into that family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
pretty
don't think they
crazy.
I
do any
honestly
kind of sponsorships for hunters that I'm aware of. But the question somebody asked was, "What do I use?" That's what I use is Garmin.
Me too.
Yep.
I think I
I
got like
honestly
12
thought after
collars.
you first 3 Clay made you record, you were going to tell Clay it's not for you.
What does that? We don't understand.
I don't.
Like when you first started with Clay and you got out there.
Oh yeah.
But you
Thomas
hit it
says,
off
by
real
the
good
way,
with
you.
Clay.
It's almost over. It starts at work truck.
Yeah, I don't really I
Well,
don't
you
understand
and
really what
Clay
he's
hit it
saying there.
off good.
But he says I'm way better now. So that's good, Thomas. I appreciate that.
It's always nice to have improvement, huh?
Yeah, for sure, for
I
sure.
always thought the first clay you made.
I think when Clay might have been with Meat Eater already. I think he was because he did that uh the Folsom Point when he did all that Folsom, and he my
Uh-huh.
favorite thing Clay has done is make the Folsom Point and kill a bear with it.
Yeah, he actually didn't make it. There's a guy out in California that made that, and I can't remember his name, but he is a world class um, flint napper, and he made the arrows
Yeah,
and sent them to Clay. But yeah, he killed that. We killed that bear where we hunt here in Arkansas,
yeah,
and it was an incredible video, incredible act. I saw a guy. I think it was before that a fella killed a grizzly with a stone point that he made
Woo!
himself up in, I don't know if it was Alaska or Northwest Territories or where it was. Anyway, but he poked a grizzly from a tree with a stone point and killed him. But yeah, that's not a lot of folks living that can say they did that.
I was gonna say,
that's
yeah.
pretty cool. And that was a longbow, right? That was
Yeah.
his longbow.
Yep.
That's
Self
pretty
boat
cool.
sure was.
What else do we got? Missy Fix Walkers watches what?
I don't think
Walkers
that's Garmin.
watches.
That's someone selling Garmin, right?
Well, yeah,
Maybe it's
like W
Garmin. I don't know.
Supply. I mean, they advertise Garmin. They're reselling Garmin.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, this live show and podcast is brought to you by W Hunting Supply. I'm not a very good salesman. I forget to say things like that all the time.
There's no rabbit hole that has it in it, so
Buddy Woodbury, we need a picture of him on the wall back there behind you, Brett.
Yeah, and
Picture of him and
in Full Cry magazine, Jason
yeah,
Doobie, he is making a go of it, and he doesn't sponsor the show, but we sponsor him.
man. Let me tell you, Jason is not running that show. His wife Danny is, and
That's
oh, that's a fact.
Jason does exactly what he's told, and I ain't scared to say it. And he ain't scared to admit it either.
I can't wait till I talk to him again.
Yeah, Danny is my hero. She is. That gal is
Yep.
something special. They are doing wonderful with that magazine. I'm so glad
And
to
still
see
having
it.
kids and raising them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just dropping them out, domino here and domino there, and there's another young.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking
they
of
are
kids, someone
good
asked
folks.
where George Lambert was, but he just had a kid, so I think
He's busy. Yeah.
yeah.
He's busy. He got a brand new one. That guy's a bear hunter. Have you ever heard of George Brent
I'm not. What's his last name?
Lambert?
Lambert.
The name sure sounds familiar, and probably once we hang up here, I'll think, "Oh Lord, yeah."
West
But
Virginia. I think he's in West Virginia, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah.
is he a hound guy?
Hound guy, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah,
Mountain
I've heard of
music
him.
and mules.
Mountain Music
Yeah,
Mules on YouTube.
100%. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I tell you what, with the deal Jason and his wife have going with the old articles on Full Cry, I think that could be a heck of a deal, a winner, because that's so interesting. And
It is.
I keep talking to him about when he does the podcast or whatever on YouTube, he needs to create a slideshow of all the old advertisements and everything that runs while he's reading it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I think that would, because he sent me an old one and I just go through it and I read the old advertisements and I think that's so fascinating.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fascinating. See how that stuff, what it sells for now, and what it sold for then.
Oh, no kidding. I got an
the
old,
articles.
yeah, and those go back to like my phone. I can't find it now, but those go back to when was Full Cry started?
1938.
1938.
I thought it was 39.
That's something else.
38 or
That
39,
is
one or
crazy.
the other.
Well,
Benny just took off on us.
Yeah. Brent didn't get to see Benny's spear. Kind of disappointed.
Benny was kind of subdued tonight.
Yeah. Maybe he's tired.
He did. We got him
Maybe
to say sons of bitches one time, so he was.
He did. He got riled up.
He did get riled up once. Whoop, there he comes back. Man, we can't even talk about him very long. He's already coming back.
Well, Brent, you're always welcome in Arizona, and I'm sure New Mexico as well. If you ever want to come out here and do a lot of no good stuff.
Yeah, come on out. I got a new mule I'll put you on.
Okay. Sounds good. Does it come with a helmet?
Yeah, well, we can get you one.
And a parachute?
We get you a helmet.
Yeah.
It's like I had a guy come out. I've told this story before. Brent's probably not heard it, though. I had a guy come out from, I think he was from Ohio or something, come out to lion hunt with me. And he met me out there. This is when I was living off grid up there in the mountains. Benny's gone again. And he met me out there, and he was riding a thoroughbred horse in an English saddle with a backpack that's as big as my door on his back. And his name was Dolph. And I looked at him, and I said, "Are you really going to wear that backpack like that?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You think that horse can get around up through here okay?" "Oh, yeah." He said, "He'll be all right." And I said, "I got to take a picture of you." And I took a picture of him, and he said, "Oh, my." He said, "I hope nobody ever sees that. I hope my wife never sees that." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "I don't have a helmet on." I looked at him, and I said, "It's illegal to hunt lions in New Mexico with a helmet on." But I tell you what, me and that guy, we hit a big old Tom lion track, and we were way up on top of the Animus, and we took off and went. And I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but when that lion cut and went down to the bottom of the Animus, and it was nothing but steep and sliding and rough, nasty. And that guy never weakened. He beat me to the bottom of the canyon.
Was it on purpose or accident that he beat you down?
No, he was on purpose. I hate to admit it, but I was on purpose.
He just rode.
That guy was a hand now. He could get around. That big old thoroughbred horse go anywhere a mule would go. I mean,
man, I figured that when I was waiting for the disaster story with that English saddle. I could not see that working out, but I'm glad it did.
No, the worst thing about him was he was like a fart in a bottle. He would come and he wouldn't. He would stay for 2 days and then he'd take off. So, I got to go. He wouldn't stay. I said, "Man, you need to stay for 5 or 6 days and hunt with me. We'll get it right sooner or later." And no, he'd just stay for a couple days and then he'd be taken off. And he had those greyhounds where he ran coyotes and stuff with greyhounds or staghounds, I guess you call them, or whatever.
That's why he needed that old racehorse.
Yeah, and then he talked about going to someplace over there by Flagstaff where they have they run coyotes like they used to back in the old days with the foxes, and they all have their colors. Because he said, they have their colors they wear, and then they got the master or whatever that blows the horn. They run coyotes. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and he goes back there and I think does that with them every year.
Oh, that is cool. That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, I used to run coyotes with greyhounds. And I did it on horseback, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's good sport, I said.
Cartwheels.
What else do we got? Oh, Benny's.
They're talking crap about you, Brent.
Uh-oh.
Louisiana Hunter said, "Come out, because Brent will teach you how to do cartwheels." And there's old Benny.
Man, I fell off a horse one time, and nobody will ever forget it.
Hey, listen, Brent. We all know Benny talked so much about undercover that me and Brett actually uncovered him when he was down in Douglas, because we think he's the undercover. So we have Clay's opinion.
He was trying to infiltrate our ring.
There ain't much there. So, well, Brent, I think we should probably let you hit the hay.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
I really appreciate.
What time is it there?
On.
9 o'clock there, ain't it?
Let's see here. I can't.
10.
15 till, where's this at? 15 till 9.
All right.
That's what the old pocket watch says. So, yeah, man. I appreciate you guys inviting me. I hate it's taking so long for us to get hooked up, but I'm busy as a cat in a sandbox these days.
We threw you under the bus there for a while.
Oh, yeah. You was going to get some hashtags.
Hashtag no show.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, Brent. We really do. And man, we hope to keep watching you.
And guys, listen to the podcast, This Country Life. Tells some really good stories.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys. I want y'all to stay in touch now. I want to come out there and see you.
Come by.
We'll
I'm
be
serious.
Here.
I'm serious about
April.
I'll put you on a mule and take you somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to look at a cat in a tree looking back at me.
Man, I do too.
I'll see if I can find somebody to take both of us.
Yeah, there you go.
Brent knows some guys.
All right, thank you, Brent. We'll see you next time. Well, Christopher.
I know. I thought he was 3 hours ahead of us.
He's just 2.
So I told him he was going on at 7, and I think we called him at 6. Because I thought he was 2 hours. I'm 7 o'clock almost here, and he's only 9 there. I'm 6:45. So he's 3 hours ahead of me, not you.
Well, cool.
Real quick, you know what I did? I forgot to mention. I was going to mention this in the beginning. Is I started Arizona Working Dog Alliance. Anybody in Arizona?
What are you trying to accomplish with that, Chris?
There's no hound association in Arizona. So I think we need somebody to kind of stand up for and to talk to Game and Fish and I've reached out to Bighorn Sheep Society. I've gotten calls back from them. I got a call back from or a guy from Wisconsin, Wyoming, one of those, Hound Society. I literally put out feelers and said, listen, I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm doing, but it needs to be done. And I got a crazy response of emails from a lot of people that have been calling me that are big organizations, and calling me quick or emailing me saying, hey, whatever you need. I got a bunch of organizations, Nevada, Wisconsin or Wyoming. I think he's Wisconsin. The big guy over there in that association called me.
Cool.
Just everybody that said, hey, we'll help you out, and this is what we're going to do. And I really told him, I really want to run it like a business. I want to get out there and put some gas in my truck and go school to school with a little hound that everybody knows and get these people opening their eyes, basically, is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to help. And I've had a lot of people call and say, what's the dues? Where do I send the dues? I'm like, whoa, pull the reins, buddy, because I just registered the name, got it legal. So if anybody wants to, I don't know, help out or give me some advice.
Yeah, figure out a way to
at Arizona Working Dog Alliance @gmail.com.
And how you want to
I'm just trying to
accomplish your goals, what your goals are, and then how, your strategy to accomplish them and what it'll take.
Education, knowledge, get it all out to people, and then I'd really love to have some sort of protocol so when they come back to Arizona, we can stand up to them a little bit. So not necessarily defense. I'd like to do some offense for a change. I think offense is important when it comes to those guys, the antis. So
Yes, sir.
figured I'd throw that out there if anybody wants to tell me how to do it. The people, hound guys are good at telling you how to do it.
Man, I'm not. I don't know how to do it.
I don't know nothing about it, and I couldn't get nobody to. I made 100 calls, and people are just like, they scoff at you for it. They're just like, good luck with that. You know, I'm just like, God dang, guys. Like, I don't know what you guys want to do. You guys just want to let them come in with no organization. So I did talk some game and fish. I've talked to a lot of higher up people, and I got people who said, I'm going to show you how to get into that legislature and be known. So we'll see how it works out. So my life is probably over.
I'm going to try this. No, how can I do this?
Better buy a suit.
I don't think my good buddy.
Eastern time, 8:44 Eastern time. Yeah, it is 9 o'clock over there. What is it?
I want them to listen to this song.
Oh, hound. We have the hound rendezvous. God, why did we forget about that? August 25th. It's in Young, Arizona.
Oh,
Reynolds Campground.
The hound.
Keep your eye open for that. You could go to pickandshoveloutfitters.com. Sign up for your dinner. Reserve. All your details are there. Pick, P-I-C, and shovel outfitters.com. Sign up. There you go. You can go on my Facebook, Antidote Houndsman. I got it on it's on there. I'm working on my dog box, Chris. It better look good. You better have some chain on that dog box, Jeremy. I'm gonna bring my welder just in case he messes it up.
Let me show you something here.
Uh-oh. What else we got going on? Next year, we'll probably be back in Douglas. So if anybody wants to run down to Douglas and meet everybody, they'll take you down there, and there's a lot of good food there. Oh, yeah. Is that pretty or what?
That's my dog box from Old South Dog Boxes.
Oh, we can't even talk crap no more. Good job, guys.
Man, isn't that something?
It is pretty. You said it had to be pretty. Look at that. That's a little water container on the right.
Water tank on it. It's got a toolbox on it. It's got lights out the back.
Look at the tie downs. I like those tie downs on the.
It's flatbed that goes with it.
I'm not even going to ask you how much you paid for that.
That little ledge.
I like the lights. I like the toolbox. I like the little water built in.
I ain't paid nothing for it yet.
I hope you're not paying by the hour.
No kidding.
Hey, they're getting it done. I guess that's all that matters.
Okay, for how many? We got quite a few people in here. A good friend of mine. Now listen to this. A good friend of mine, and I've never met him in person, but he's this guy's talented. He was on. Matter of fact, he was on Clay Newcomb's podcast on the Render. His name's Hayden.
He was
Hayden Powell. And this guy wrote this song, and I'll play just a little bit of it here.
It's a different song, not the one he wrote with.
No, it's not the one that my wife
Tammy's
wrote.
Poem.
He's got this one, but he's coming out with an album, and it's going to be on Spotify or whatever it is. But he's putting all these songs together, and it's going to be some really, really good stuff. So here's just a little bit of this one. And this is just him and a guitar. This is not studio or anything. This is just him singing with his guitar. Listen to this. Well, don't listen to it then. Hold on.
Brett's in his new office. He had to get it all set back up again.
Into the canyon where I lay bedroll at night. The barred owl is calling, the whippoorwill singing, the stars they're shining so bright. Well, I'll sing this old whoopie-tie-o song, sing it till the break of dawn. Well, I'll whoopie-tie and I'll whoopie-tie-o, pulling this pack string along. Yodelay-hoo, yodelay-hoo. The bells are a-jingling out in the meadow, the hoofbeats stronger than wine. The sun is a-peeking over the willows. Well, I know that it's almost time that I sing this old whoopie-tie-o song, singing till the break of dawn. Well, I'll whoopie-tie and I'll whoopie-tie-o.
Now, it don't get much better than that right there.
Nope.
That's good music. They don't make music like that anymore. So anyway,
no, don't even wear cowboy hats no more.
He's going to have that album out. It's going to have the song that my wife wrote and he put music to and he sings, and this song and others like it. So when it comes out, we're gonna let everybody know about it and let
how about we get him on the show? Think we can
I
get him
will.
on
That's
the
a
show?
good idea.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get him on the show and
Bring his guitar and just sing a little live.
He can do a little bit of live stuff for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's a real talented guy, and he's a good hand on a mule. If you watch his YouTube channel, man, he's and he's always putting out these little clips on Facebook, I think, and Instagram too. But he's a good hand on a mule too. So cool dude. We're gonna do a video together, him and I, one of these days. Kind of like me and Chris are gonna do together one of these days, but haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah, you just gotta win that Powerball. That's all I gotta do.
It would help. Anyway, what else? Come on, guys. Ask us some questions.
Yeah.
We're going to go.
Brett's happy he don't have to drive 30 minutes to go home.
I'm home.
I'm home.
This is my office.
I'm in my home right now. I just got to walk 10 feet. What's the channel, Brett? What's his channel?
I think it's Hayden Powell. Let me look it up real quick.
I think it is too.
Y'all go over there and subscribe. Subscribe to him.
When's that Warner Glenn coming out? They're asking. When is the interview with Mr. Glenn coming out? I'm looking forward to more videos.
The interview with Mr. I've got to put up the
I think, again, I'll kind of explain it real quick. Editing. I just started editing podcast, and I think it's easier to edit a video than a dang podcast.
It can be tough. Well, just look up Hayden Powell. That's his Hayden Powell, Missy.
Yep. Hayden Powell.
Look him up on YouTube. I mean, and on Facebook and Instagram, and he does little clips. He's a real talented person, and it's cool. It's cool to. It was amazing that he took what my wife's poem and the music he put to it is amazing. I can't hardly listen to it without getting all choked up. But
what else we got? Any questions? I'm going for broke and making the 20-hour drive to Arizona to hunt bears and porcupines and maybe a lion with my mutts. We'll be here. He's coming for that rendezvous.
Oh, cool.
So, be a good time. be a good time. So
y'all
y'all have no excuses.
No. Hey, I might let my hounds run a bear too this year. I don't know.
Nothing else better to do. I'm sure there is stuff better to do.
I was gonna say
Chase dog 3 days.
I just start remembering how hard it is. I like that old slow pace, cold trailing of a lion.
I'm looking for some property in New Mexico. Actually, looking at some property in New Mexico. Remote, so remote. No power, no water. Some 1840s houses. Close to Brett. Kinda.
Yeah,
Kinda close.
No, it's not that far.
Closer.
It's probably only little over 2-hour drive from where I'm at right now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not that bad. Worst part of it is that dirt road going all the way up through there.
Yep. We'll see how that works out. So, what else? What else is going on? What else we got coming up? What else you got for podcast for W?
I got to get the Johnny Clump out. I'm going to put the video portion of it out on this channel. That'll probably come out the following week. I'll tell you, it's why I kind of got mad at Garmin and why I'm thinking about it is W Supply does sponsor us, and that helps out, but it's not enough for me to go do the sit-down interviews because I have to travel. So what I was kind of holding as to show potential sponsors was the Johnny Clump and then the Warner Glen, and saying, well, if you guys want to sponsor these, and I do have a dog food company. It's a heck of a dog food company. Come out. They just built these big fancy plants and have done real good, so, and they say they're making super good dog food. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I've just been kind of holding out on that. And I've got, I'd like to go talk. There's several other guys that I'd like to go talk to, sit down and talk to and get their stories before it's too late. They're getting old, and it's hard to get them. If we could just get them on the podcast, then it wouldn't be, or on this deal, this live deal, it wouldn't be a very big deal, Then there's really no expense to doing this, and it's just fun. But anymore, at the price of fuel and having to drive, 400 or 500 miles, it's not, comes right out of my pocket. So, with the Butterfield Trek, man, I wanted to do it last year, and then I had some health problems. I'm not sure I want to do it during the summertime because I think it'd be pretty miserable. But so probably I'm looking at, maybe late September. I want to do it, and then I want to do the I always called it the Camino Real. It's the one that runs right here by my house and runs north. I don't know how far. I'd probably just go to, what's it, Fort Craig? Is it Fort Craig? I can't remember. Up there by the Santa Fe Diner. But I am really, really, if you could see my bookshelf.
Old man caught up with me this time.
Yeah, that happens, What'd they say? What old man told me, said either I'm thinking about peeing, or I'm looking for a place to pee. But if you could see my bookshelf, you could see exactly my interest. I got about, I don't know. I got probably got 20, 30 books on lion hunting and lions. And then I probably got 20, 25 books on long rides. It's just been fascinating to me to just get on a mule with a pack mule, ride right out of your yard and go, just pick a trail, one of these historic trails, I think is what would make it a lot more fun. And just ride, just go. It's like they did 100 years ago. More than 100 years ago now. 100 years ago, they still had some automobiles, didn't they?
100 years, 1924. Oh, yeah, they've been around for 20 years.
Not very
Shoot,
reliable.
1920s, they were coming into full bodies. They were already out of all that. You had your, T-buckets, your coupes were starting to
Always
come
think
out.
about that John Wayne movie, The Shootist, when he's riding through town and that the guy he ends up shooting in the bar at the end of the movie has that little car and has that horn.
Well, also, what is that other one? Big Jake? Is that
Big Jake,
or
yeah, and
is
his son.
Is that
his
one
son.
where they steal his grand and he has that motorcycle and his kid's riding that motorcycle?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That
Hi,
matter of fact,
Daddy.
Big Jake, that's one of my. You call me
Yeah.
Daddy one more time.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
feel like
one.
that's my kid sometimes. You know who I like, and that's Sylvester Stallone. The guy moved out of California. He headed to Florida because California is just a crap hole. And he said that the movies in the old days, like Commando and Rambo, it was based on masculine men. And these days, actors are wearing dresses and ponytails and makeup. And he says that's what the problem is our masculinity has just dropped.
Well, and then they make these tough women too. And I mean, I know there's tough women, but
I'm going to tell you, Crocodile Dundee called it back in the 80s when he says, that's a Sheila, and he goes up and he grabs her and says, that's a guy. That's what you got to do these days. And even then, you got to be careful.
I don't even like to think about
I
it.
think more men need to get out on mules and run dogs and hunt and sword fight and whatever they got to do. I've took gym rats out running bear, and I'm a fat houndsman. I'm not in shape at all, but these gym rats that I say, you're going to keep up, and he says, bench 800, I deadlift 800 pounds, or I squat 800 pounds. I'm like, oh, okay. Not even a quarter way up those mountains half the time. These guys are like, this is steep. Are you going to keep up? 800-pounder squatter? It's a lot different.
It's that motivation to get to them. How about Jim Moore? His daughter has been posting all his old videos. He was making line videos before it was cool. Yeah, I got his videos right here. Matter of fact, I've even shared some of hers. So what's your point, Tom Hall?
Are you picking a fight, Tom?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Or you just want to see. You just want to see some of those videos or interview with. Well, his daughter, is Jim Moore passed, or is he still alive?
No, Jim's passed.
A while now, right?
Yeah, Jim used to hunt with Henry McIntyre.
For back then.
And then they had a falling out. I know all kinds of stories about that probably don't need to be talked about anymore.
Man, could you imagine if we had the technology today to record as back then with Ed Vance and Dale Lee and just even these newer guys in the 60s and 70s,
Oh, yeah, back when they did it all the time.
The convenience of carrying a camera. You know what I mean? Because even then didn't come out to win that. Even the 80s had the VHF camera that you carried around.
Now, this thing has better quality than anything they ever had.
Yep.
And besides that, you can call for help.
Yep. Yes, you can. Well,
Nothing
Brett.
else. I better go. I'm getting
I gotta
grumpy.
go put out some fires. I gotta go put out some fires. My kids are being buttholes. So.
Peso, your new ride.
Seeing Peso, your new ride. Thanks for that. Peso.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Don't you ever call her that name again.
Bonnie
They pay
and Clyde.
attention. Who's paying attention? Quit paying attention to the videos.
AKA Penny and Cody. That was their original names.
Penny and Cody. Penny, Cody.
I'll probably
Bonnie, Penny, and Clyde Cody.
Cody will be.
Middle name.
I'll start using Cody next week.
Dale Cameron would have been a good one.
You bet, Calvin. I drove through your country just last week. I came right through. I went through many farms and Cayenta, I think, all the way down and came out at Gallup. I thought about you while I was driving through there. See you, Jeremiah. Take care.
Yep.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for coming.
We did it again. It's 3 hours. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan
I'll
style.
see you Wednesday. I'll
Yes,
be
sir.
on Wednesday with somebody or
Don't
something.
forget,
or
yeah,
some-
Antidote of a Houndsman. Over there on his channel, he does a real good live on. I've even stopped in there a few times. When I'm traveling, I got time to be able to stop and stay.
And when he's home now, I guarantee he's going to be on a lot more.
I'll sneak out here. Yeah, it's that drive, man, that 20-minute drive.
It is. It is.
And look how the internet did good, didn't it?
It did really good. We had a couple little glitches on my side. It might not have been yours, but just nothing. No different than you being in your office.
Cool.
So go take a nap.
Bueno
Hit it again
pues.
tomorrow. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
Muchos gracias.